Welcome to this episode of The Weigh-In, where we talk to content creators, bait makers, and industry insiders. This episode's brought to you by our fine sponsors, Big Al Speed Shine. You can find all their products at BigAlSpeedShine.com. Spray it on, wipe it off, done. Deep gloss, slick finish, big shine. Big Al Speed Shine, slick it up. Now, let's get ready to weigh in. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Monday night episode of The Weigh-In. Trying to get the TikTok pulled up because I always forget about the TikTok when we do this stuff, and I feel bad for doing that. So I'm trying to get it pulled up as well. But guys, we got a great show tonight. We've got my buddy Big Al, Alan Coley, Big Al Speed Shine in here. He stepped in last minute to do the show. Man, I really appreciate you showing up. It's gonna be awesome, and I just appreciate it so much.
Yeah, man, it's been exciting getting to watch your first two episodes and then getting to come on as a sponsor. So it's this is going to be fun. I'm excited about it. Appreciate you asking.
Dude, you're always welcome. And the guys, as you just saw in the opening little credits there, Big Al Speed Shine is the first official sponsor of the Weigh-In, and that means the world to me. I'm so glad to have you on board with that, because that just just makes it, it just makes it real. I don't know what it is about it, just makes it real when you got a sponsor for a show. And dude, I couldn't be more happy to have you on. I'm glad it worked out, and welcome aboard, I guess.
We're excited.
We're repping all the Big Al Speed Shine gear. We got the product right here behind us. All right, we'll just jump right into it, just for the lack of better things, guys. In the comments, G4, dude, what's going on, Doug, Eddie, Thad, Silverpunk, John, y'all welcome in. Thanks for stopping by, guys. It's going to be a great show. So the first hour, we got Alan here with us. We're going to talk a little product. He also fishes, so it's not just about the product itself. He also fishes. He fishes some stuff we fish. And then we've got Routh coming on for the second hour. He might be here around 8:45-ish or so, and we're going to have him come in, and we're going to talk some content creation, some more fishing, and it's going to be a great show, guys. Coleman, what's going on, buddy? Welcome in. Just real quick, we'll just get it started. So guys, if you don't know Big Al Speed Shine, now we're going to learn about it. And I know a lot of you guys see it, you hear, especially if you watch anything I do, I promote it. He promotes it big time. Tell us a little bit about Big Al Speed Shine and how it got started, kind of the story behind it, because it's a really good story.
Yeah, it's kind of like everybody out there is making a product now, and there's no products that are really bad. And that's one thing that I won't do. I won't talk bad about anybody's products because they're all good. I just always tell people that our product is going to last you 30-40%, maybe even longer. I've got guys that bought it at the Noe Outdoor Show last year that's used it on their boat and their car or truck, and they're still on the same bottle. It's a 32-ounce bottle. But, it's kind of one of them things where it's like, I have a 96 21 XDC bullet, and it's my baby, and it's showroom condition. And, I mean, I take care of it. It's kind of like my son Chandler, who's helping me. He kind of makes fun of me sometimes because I can just walk by the boat when I go out to the building and wipe it down. Just, they don't need it, but he goes, I guess that's your therapy, Dad. But I guess it is, because I want it to keep looking good. I want it to shine. But it's kind of like the products that I was using. It was like they started making the product actually work. Then they changed owners, and then they would. It took that product. It wasn't working as good. Then they would offer one or two other products that you had to buy to finish the job. And I was like, let's go old school. A product with some carnauba waxes and water silicone based stuff, and make it just where it's really slick. And I've had help from my brother-in-law Randy Hills helped me out. You met Randy, I believe, at the first show. We've got out where we keep our boats. There's a guy that's a chemist that does a lot of big, like, detergent stuff and all that. And he's really smart and stuff. And he's helped us with this. And it is. I see a comment where it is a wax. It's not a cleaner. We don't advertise it as a cleaner, but we'll get to that. But it is actually like a speed polish, speed wax. But anyway, so we just wasn't happy with what everybody had, and we got this going, and of course I'm a big bullet guy. I love my bullets, and a lot of the older guys that have bullets really take care of their boats. And we first started thinking, well, if I can get this out to the bullet guys that's got the '96s, the 2000s that look showroom condition. And if they like it, then hey, let's just see what happens. And they really have liked it. And we kind of I got lucky with Bullet. And uh, last year at the East Tennessee Fishing Expo,
Yeah.
they let me wipe down the bullets that they had at the show. And I did that. And look, I'm learning. Like, ponies help me a lot with content making stuff, and I'm about to be 56 years old, and this stuff's kind of passing me up. And I just said I'm going to try TikTok, right? And I mean, I'm just an old man with TikTok, which is weird, but I did some TikTok videos, and man, they took off. Like, it just, like, it was crazy. Like, that week I sold 10 bottles that week, and that's when it got your attention. And
Right.
it's just kind of started as a hobby, just because we're very OCD about cleaning our boats. And that's basically what's happened. And we make it where it smells good. It's the slickest product probably you'll ever put on your boat. I tell people, like, don't step on the gunnel or the front of your boat when you're getting in off the dock. Don't do
Right.
it.
Yeah.
And it is like very, 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 very slick. And helps the water run off. It just makes it easy when you come off the water after a hard day of fishing. If you do want to wipe it down, you don't have to spray the boat down. You can just spray it on your rag, wipe the boat down, and you get that shine back, and it easy takes the water spots off. So it's
Right.
kind of what happened. And I love it. It's a hobby, but it's been kind of a pain. I ain't gonna lie now, because everybody knows my Red Bullet up around Chickamauga. And if I leave the lake and have to stop by a gas station or something, I can't have a dirty boat, because everybody's like, dude, you got a product. Why is your boat dirty? So it's kind of like
Exactly.
makes me really keep it clean now. But
Exactly. We got Bass and Bougie on the TikTok comments. They said it's real slick. Absolutely. Absolutely.
yeah, he's gonna be in trouble, because I saw his last TikTok where where
oh,
where where she was complaining about his side chick. And I said, well, you just wait till side chick gets this good smelling cherry on it, and he's gonna be in trouble.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. So we got a good question in here. And Silverpunk and Thad Moody both asked the same question. Basically, are you going to make a kayak product? And then Chandler actually answered, but I want you to answer it live for the viewers too.
Yeah, well, the carnauba waxes, they will help coat kayaks. I'm not so familiar with all the material that's made. The kayaks are made out of. Like, I'm sure there's probably really only about probably two or three materials they make them out of. But if they have if it has kind of a coating, like a slicker coating, then yes, it will help, because it will help with the UV protection. But
Right.
if it's a rough texture finish, I'm not sure. It's
Yeah.
not. It's probably not going to take. It's probably not going to shine it up. It's probably not going to stick to it as good. But if it does have a kind of a smoother finish to it, it should help with you. I get that asked a lot.
Yeah.
I've had several people at the shows ask me about that, and it's this
But
kind of the same answer.
you've got a new product coming out. It's kind of just, you kind of just debuted it at the show, and it's a bubble wash, berry bubble wash and wax. So it could be used to clean your kayak as well. I mean, that's a good cleaner part. So
Yes, I had a friend of mine over at Marine Makeover Solutions in Chatsworth. He was one of the guys that helped me when we were testing this stuff out, trying to get it right. He helped us out, and it was something he came to me about. I kind of try to stick with just the speed shine, but I've had a couple dealers ask me about other products, and he asked me about this, wanting to do kind of a bundle. He wants to do kind of and it may be coming soon, a bundle bucket that'll have a bucket, and it'll have all three products, and it'll have other stuff. And that's where this come about. But it is a very good, highly concentrated wash. It doesn't take much. It can be used in a bucket, or it can be used out of the foam cannons. I've never used the foam cannons, but I
right.
know it can be used in those. And it has a very berry smell, like all my products have. I don't want them to stink. I want them to smell good. I don't want people thinking they're using vinegar based stuff or
There you
all
go.
that stuff. But it's kind of, I I just I like the smelling good stuff, but it smells good, and it's kind of a product that we've done a little testing with. Matt tried it and he loved it, and it does coat it as well. So that should be coming soon. Took a case to the show, gave you a bottle,
Yep.
gave one or two of my dealers a bottle just for them to try it, just to get some feedback. Had a couple people buy a bottle, and so we'll just see how that goes. And
Yeah.
I think it'll be a great product, but I still like my baby is the Cherry Bomb, the Speed Shine.
Hey, I got a truck out here in the driveway that needs it bad. So as soon as this weather decides what it's going to be, winter or summer or spring, I'm going to throw it on the truck for sure. Going back to the kayak question just real quick, because, you answered it with, the rough texture stuff. When you and I were at the Villarica show last year, we actually had the table set up, the plastic tables, like your booth tables. It was a black table, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
And it's got that rough texture to it. It was actually shining the rough textured material up. So it still works. It's not really intended that way, but it still works on those products, still shines them up too. So that's something else we noticed.
Yeah, and I have people ask me all the time, what does it work on? And our answer, we always just say, if it wants to shine, it'll shine. If it wants to shine, it'll shine it up. I got another one of my dealers, Aaron Strickland, up in Ohio. I think he wiped down everything in his shop. He wiped down his toolboxes. He wiped down everything in there. And he said, yeah, which I'm sure his shop smelled good after that,
Man, listen, when I first got it and did my boat and backed it in, my wife walked out there and she was like, well, if nothing else, it makes the garage smell way better than it did. So it does do that for sure. It does do that. And so we got Blake. I want to recognize Blake for being a channel member, dude. I appreciate that so much. Thank you so much for jumping on that, dude. That's awesome. And Blake said he's out here local where I'm at, so it's a good dude right there. Eric said my wife almost fell off the side of my boat after I treated mine the first time in the garage. Yoga pants and Speed Shine do not mix.
I guess not. I had a guy. I got a high school kid that fishes up in Tennessee, and he was fishing at Nickajack last year, and he was going to fish out of his dad's boat, his dad's Phoenix, but something happened on the poles, so the power poles. So he had to put everything over on his bullet. He had an older bullet, and he goes out and they're fishing that morning, and it's like 20 something degrees. And yeah, I'm not taking credit for this. And I told him that. I said he's been warned, but they go to net a fish. First off, he had an old net. He goes to net to fish. He steps on the gunnel, coveralls into the, his bibs into the water, and at 20 something degrees outside, he loses the net. Anyway, he keeps fishing because these kids are resilient. He's very good too, and yeah. He ends up not long after that battery goes dead, and he has to go find a battery to buy, and he still goes on. Him and his partner goes on and wins the tournament with like 27 pounds after falling in the water and doing all this and that. But he found out the hard way. Like, he was one of the first ones that went swimming. So you do have to be careful. And that's one thing, I tell people all the time, like, it's slick, right?
Yeah.
And but that's what you want.
It's definitely slick, but it doesn't leave a buildup. That's the one good thing about it. It's a slick finish, but it's not a grimy, like, it doesn't get grimy over time. It doesn't collect. To me, I've not noticed it collecting anything over time. It's a good finish. It doesn't do anything bad to it. So I like that for sure. And John G wanted to know, you answered this question a minute ago. Will it go in a foam cannon pressure washer attachment? Yes, that was my first question, John. I asked him when he told me about it. I was like, hey, can I use it in a foam cannon? He said it will. He said, I'll get back to you, make sure. And he did. He told me it will work in a foam cannon. I just haven't tried it myself yet. So that's a good deal. And then Crankin' Yankins, our local guy, our guy from Louisiana, excuse me, I'll get out here in just a second. And he's my water moccasin. I don't know how. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce that. I'm sure it's something fancy that I can't say. I'll butcher it, dude. So it's fiberglass glitter in a cool little boat, and I know it probably is. But hey, it'll work on that one too. And John did say you answered that. Chandler brings up something that you say all the time here. If it wants to shine, it'll shine. It'll help maintain that shine and protect. It'll help with water spots and river lines as well. And yep, absolutely. All right, so John's got a great question right here. Does it go on clear and just wipe off?
I mean, it does go on clear. I mean, and because when you put it on, you're putting it at a mist. It's like it's literally like gonna last a while, because it's kind of a milky looking when you look at it in a bottle, but when it's misted out, it does go on clear. It takes very little wipe on, and it takes no Like if your boat's, if you know, I tell everybody try to put it on with your boat clean first, and put the first coat on. It wipes on really easy. There's no elbow grease. You just, it's, I kind of say it's like a glide. When you putting it on, you're just kind of gliding across your boat, putting it on, and then when you go to get the water spots off afterwards, it's just simple to get everything off. You could literally get off the lake and have your boat wiped down in about 5 minutes. It
Right.
doesn't take that long, but it does kind of go on. It goes on clear, but it is kind of a milky looking, you know, product. So
Right. And we had some people ask at the show, and I heard your answer to that. A lot of folks will ask, can you dilute it, because it lasts a long time, but it's really shiny, and so I know I'm gonna answer how I do it. I come off the water, I got a wet rag, that's got speed shine on it, and I've got a dry rag, and I spray it on the rag, wipe it down, then wipe it back off. Whether the boat's wet or not, I don't care particularly. I've noticed it works just fine like that, but you don't recommend really diluting it at all if you can
I
help
mean,
it.
I don't know that it matters, Tony. I just don't. Like if I
Yeah.
have, when I load my boat, if I have water, when you power load and where you get some water on the back, I always knock it off. I may not completely dry it, but I'll knock the bigger parts of the water off, and then I'll
Right.
wipe it down. But I don't think it's going to matter that much, because you already got, I guess, you already got it on there. You already got a coat on there, and
Right.
the stuff don't wash off like super easy either. Like, so if you run through a storm and you have to run through a car wash, pressure wash, it's not going to completely take it all off on that car wash. I mean, it's going to, it keeps that base coat on it for a little while. So,
Right.
I mean,
And
I don't think it's going to hurt nothing.
listen, I mean, I know he's show sponsor. I've known him for over a year now, but I'm telling you, I was going through a ton of off the shelf products. I grew up doing paint and body work, so all the McGuire's and different things like that, and using a ton of that stuff, just doing the in between cleans. And this is the bottle, my first bottle that I ever bought from you. Still, I mean, I still got not quite half a bottle, a little less than half a bottle. It lasts a long time. I mean, and I use it on my truck too. So, but it does make go a long ways. Even Tony Watkins says he still got some from the bottle that he bought from you last year. Good stuff. And then Jeff Brazil, he says he needs to try some. Might make his boat go faster. And if
Hey,
I'm not,
it will.
if I'm not mistaken, he's already in a Allison. So he's
Oh
already
yeah. So you say that, like, I have some guys, I have Joey Deaver and some guys down in Louisiana that drag boat, they drag race the Allisons. They actually have, he does it on his cars. He does it on his actual fun Allison that he runs around in, and he's got a drag boat that he'll lift, and he'll wipe the whole bottom of his boat in it. But those guys are going straight, so don't do that on yours, because you may not make the turn when you go to cut in a creek or make a sharp turn in the river or something. But they wipe the bottom of their boat down but they're going straight. So
Yeah.
it definitely will. I think it'll at least give you a little bit more.
And you even said the guys used it on the dirt track
They
cars.
do, yeah. My brother-in-law has his dad. They have a race team, and they have a guy that runs it on his cars. It does help with the clay coming off and all that, but the only issue that he's had with it there was if the pits get really really dusty, that some of the dust will set on it while it's in the pits. But he said as soon as he goes out on the track, he just watches it just poof, and it just comes right off the
Yeah,
car.
and that says a lot right there. And then
Yeah.
Eric corrected me. It's called a P-row. So I thought maybe So P-row. That's what the Cranking Yankin's got, a P-row. So there we go. At least we corrected that, because I felt kind of dumb there for a minute, for sure. And then Silver Punk wants to know what it smells like. He wants to know what it smells like.
You hold that thing up. You open that bottle and hold it up to the mic, Tony. He might can smell it through your mic. It's that strong.
It smells like cherries. It is a cherry smell. And on the bottle, where's it at on the bottle here?
Yeah.
It says smells so good that you'll want to drink it, but seriously, please don't drink it. I mean, it
Yeah.
smells
I mean, unless you're constipated, it might help a little bit.
you won't be for long, for sure.
That's right. Slick it up, baby. Slick it up.
Cherry bomb. And Silver Punk said he wants a shad scented one, so it'll attract the fish.
Hey, I've had people come up with all kind of ideas, Tony. I had a guy ask me at the Chattanooga show. He said, "Can you make some that's really lemon scent?" I said, "I don't want to make none that's lemon scent." And then he said, "Well, you can make some for all us night fishermen that's really lemon scent, because bugs hate lemons. I said, well, makes sense. But, I talked to my guy and he's like, man, I don't know if we can make it smell strong enough, a strong enough lemon scent for that to matter. But it's like people ask all the time about, can you make this? Can you make that?
Yeah, absolutely. Crankin' Yankin has a statement question here. Works on painted aluminum boats, I presume. More of a BB than a bullet, but it is mine, or it will be in a few years. So yeah. So he's like I said, he's down there in Louisiana. He's fishing all those backwater. He's probably one of those perfect examples. If he could use it on his aluminum boat, because he's down there in that little dirtier water stuff. So will it work on an aluminum boat?
It will. It will. I think I saw where Chandler had made a comment earlier. It will. It works more toward the the painted boats that has like a coating on it, and it could still be a silver, like aluminum looking boat with the coating on it. But I mean, it's not going to work on your green, your flat green that ain't got that. It's not going to work on those, but it'll work. I have people that's got, like how I think it's Bass Tracker has, like the navy and the maroon looking boats and the white boats. It does work on them. I mean, because they're shiny. I mean, it's just like I said, if it'll shine, it'll work.
Yeah, exactly. So John G says it must have graphene or ceramic in it.
Has no ceramic in it. It's carnauba waxes and it's a water silicone base. It's about as old school as you can get. I mean, those products worked 15 years ago, 20 years ago. Everybody thinks, you got to do the ceramic now. And I mean, look, let's face it, I'm not calling any of these places out, and I won't, but I mean, it's like saying all this stuff has ceramic in it. And those of y'all that know, and I love, like, hey, look, if you got the money to get your boat or car ceramic, hey, I would do that if I had it. I don't have it, but I think I've heard like a 2 or 3 ounce bottle of ceramic alone costs $300. So you're going to tell me that you can buy a 30-ounce bottle, 32-ounce bottle with ceramic in it for $25 or $24? Yeah, there's about 2 or 3 drops in a 250-gallon tote, so that they're not telling a story, that it's got it in it. But and I'm not saying they're all that way, but there's a lot of that there's just no way. It's not that they can't do it, but it's not. It has no ceramic in it. It's really old school. Like I said, it worked back then and it works now, and it's what it is.
Yeah, and Marine Makeover Solutions in the comments, and he does some great work. You guys go check him out too. He's got a TikTok, YouTube, all that good stuff. Check him out. Love this stuff. I use it on all the boats I do. I'm excited about the wash, dude. I'm glad you got him into it, because that's awesome to have a another product out there too.
So, yeah, for sure. Well, he wears me out with not going to the show with me. I try to get Matt come to the show with me, and because I always get these people asking me, well, does it work on this? Does it work on that? And I'm like, no, it will not take the oxidation. I mean, if your boat's, and then they go like, well, who can we use? And I'll be like, my guy. I got a guy. He ain't here, but I got a guy. And I think this weekend I needed some of his cards, because I bet I had to write his name and number on the back of 10 of my business cards for people that was wanting work done. So, it's like, he needed to come hang out with me. So anyway,
got to drag him along one day for sure.
I know, that's right.
And then Crankin says, sorry, all you kayak guys, you just can't polish a turd.
That ain't right. That ain't right.
That's not from the weigh in. The things that are expressed here may not be the opinions of the weigh in.
No, that's not right. That is not right.
Crankin, he's our cut up, man. He cuts up in the comments all the time. Tyler, man, appreciate you tuning in on your drive home. Just be careful, be careful doing that. And then Eric LaRue did say, hang on, sorry. Your comment jumped on me there. We'll get it back here in just a second. There we go. A lot of that stuff is snake oil. Real ceramic coatings are high dollar. This stuff really works good. And yeah, it does. I'm telling you, I'll just tell my story a little bit about it, how I found out about it. I had saw it on TikTok. I had saw a couple of videos or whatever. And it wasn't until you see that stuff all the time. It wasn't until I saw you putting it on the bullet boats in East Tennessee show, and it hit me. I was like, they don't just let anybody put stuff on brand new boats. Like, you have to go through like testing, or you have to prove that your stuff's not going to strip those boats down and all that stuff. And it dawned on me. I was like, this got to be a good product. And I reached out to you and bought a bottle, and it's been that, ever since. And then I got the bottle, used it, and I called him back. It's like, look, man, I want to help you out any way I can to help you get the stuff out there, because it's that good. I mean, it is that good. And I don't know, maybe you can attest. I don't know that I've heard anybody complain about anything of it. And again, that's just for me.
Yeah, we've moved. I mean, between dealers and all, I really haven't been able to keep up with it because, like I said, this has been a hobby and it's like my fourth or fifth job, man. I really don't have time for it, and I love it. And that's, you know, I just love doing it. And I know we've moved probably 400 or 500 bottles, and I've not had one person like, not one person. And I've asked everybody, and I mean, and I'm sure there's been that one or two people that just something didn't go their way, but I've not had a person give me any kind of negative. Everybody's been like, man, this stuff is good, and it's like,
Yeah.
that's kind of what we want to hear because that's
Right.
why we do it, and I do want, and I tell people it's like it's not only bottle, but I'll tell people just try it. If you can give me a good enough reason you don't like it, I'll give you money back. I mean, it's it ain't the end of the world if you don't like it.
Right. Try it and see. I mean, for sure.
I
So
mean,
Cranking's got a question here. Where can you get this stuff? Website, Amazon.
website, bigalspeedshine.com. Also on my website, I have a tab where it has all my dealers. I try to push it, through my dealers. I have several dealers now, and looking to try to expand to some other areas that I'm not at. I'm really got a lot up in Tennessee, up here in North Georgia area and stuff. So I'm trying to reach out. I want to get to the point where, like I said, I don't have a lot of time to push it. And I'm kind of done pushing it after a hard year and a half. So kind of letting my dealers let it fly with the dealers and on the website. So, it's, that's where we're at.
You mean you don't enjoy standing at the shows for 3 days on end? I know you do, but it's a job.
I say that, and I like I told you, and this last show was probably one of the last shows that I'm going to do as far as like a whole show. And, I'm going to start trying. I may do a pop-up show here and there. I may, what I really want to do is, I want to go to like my dealers. I have dealers that go to these shows. I want to give back to them. I want to be able to go on a Saturday and spend all day Saturday and sell and promote the product out of their booth for them, and of course me make my dealer price, but they'll make their dealer markup too. So that's kind of where I'm at. And then I guess the good thing from there is I can walk around when I want to, or I can leave and not have to stay on Sunday or Friday. I can just come on Saturday. And, one of the
Right.
things, going to these shows has been one of the greatest things that I've been able to do because, man, I have met some of the best people I've got people that are my friends now, just that are vendors that, and you can be in a booth beside somebody. Like I was in a booth at Coleman, Alabama, beside a guy that sells tiny homes. Nothing to do with
Right.
anything I'm doing, but man, the guy was super fun. It was a fun weekend. I met somebody new. They brought me back something, me and Chandler, something back to eat. I mean, just you meet these people, and it's just that's what's fun about it. So
Oh
I
yeah.
always don't go to shows, man. Yeah, I hate going to shows too because I buy too much.
Well, that's that. A lot of folks, ask me why I go to the shows all the time, and like you just said, number one, it's meeting people.
Uh,
We all might complain about a business. Well, they're just a big corporation, but you go to these shows, it's local guys, it's small business. Even if it's big companies, you finally get to put a name, whatever with the company, and you get to meet them, you get to know them, and the next thing you know, you got their phone number, you got their email address or whatever, and man, most of them will answer any questions or whatever. And Cranking, I put the comment on the screen here, bigalspeedshine.com. He said we need to slow down. He's from Louisiana. We couldn't understand the website. So it's bigalspeedshine.com. I'm gonna leave it on the screen for just a few minutes. Make sure he gets that, make sure y'all get that. And just check that out, check the dealer tab, like I said, go through the dealers, go through the website, take that stuff. Cause I hated to hear that you're not going to do the shows as much anymore, but I know that I know you also have other avenues, and Blake's got a question in there. He wants to know, do you have any of the rope hats in stock? Because I know that was a big deal.
Yeah, if he can somehow reach out to me, I'll tell him what I got. I've been doing the hats, and that's one thing I've always tried to do, some of the apparel and charge kind of what my cost is in it, just to kind of promote the product. But I can send him what let him have some pictures of what I have left from the show. And
Gotcha.
that's another thing I do. I do apparel on the side, so I'm always messing with hats. That's why I can't make no profit on on my speech because I'm always coming up with like my fishing hoodie you got on. It's got the
Yep.
little fish in the camo. I'm always trying to come up with just stuff and do hats and stuff. So I do have some rope hats left.
You gotta have that hustle. I mean, that's where I got my hats from. He makes my hats too. I mean, it's one of those things that he makes hats and apparel and stuff like that. I know you got a big, you do sports apparel and things like that as well, and that's another side gig. I know the shows take away from that time that you could be doing that. I mean, you also do what, coaching and other stuff. I mean, you got all kind of irons.
Yeah, I coached baseball for. You had to bring that up, so like I coached baseball for about 25 years, right? And my son graduated. Chandler graduated in 14. I coached him through all the years, and then I kept coaching because I love the game. That's one thing I've done. I played the game. I love the game, and I kept coaching up until about 2 years ago. And I said, all right, I'm retiring. I'm going to fish more. And dude, I fish less. Like it's been like I stay so busy because I have trailers that set my sporting goods business trailers set up on the weekends. But so all the years my wife has let me do what I wanted to do. It was kind of like she's always been there. She's always let me do what I wanted to do. And I picked my battles. I knew what I had to do, and I wouldn't argue. I just do it. And so I quit coaching, thinking I was going to fish more. Well, she wants to play golf, and I do like golf, but I'm so competitive. I hate sucking at anything, and I do a good job at that at golf. And so the last 2 years, I think I've played more golf than I've got to fish. But my New Year's resolution this year was to fish more, and I've already been about as many times as I went, last year. So I'm going to fish more this year. I'm going to fish a lot more this year.
Where do you normally fish at?
At Chickamauga and Nick and Jack.
So drop some, so that everybody don't think it's a sales show. Drop some juice on some Chickamauga. Go ahead and give me something up there.
Look, I can't tell. So all y'all that fish know, man. If you don't go, it's tough. And back when me and my partner Ricky Chumley, we used to fish all the time. We were there 3-4 days a week. We would stay on them, and we was catching some good bags and doing well in tournaments and stuff. And now that I don't go no more, we went 2 weeks ago and caught a couple fish, caught a couple 3-pounders in some shallow water in the back of creeks on traps. And Ricky caught an 8.5 in about 2.5 foot of water. I think it was 2 weeks ago on a trap. But me and my son went back last week, and we didn't do very good. I think I caught one, and that was it. But and we fished the same spots. It was just later in the day, difference in time. But Chickamauga is really good. As far as right now, there's a lot of big fish coming out there, and I want to get on it. But they're Nick and Jack. Nick and Jack's come on good. It's always trap, chatterbait, rigs, pretty much.
There you go. Good deal. Eric had a question. He wants to know when the wash is going to be available on the website.
I don't know. Me and Matt's got to kind of talk about that at Marine Makeover. We're going to figure out how we do it. He's going to be kind of exclusive on the buckets. I will have his bucket, and when he comes up with it, we'll have it on the site. And then, I see Ricky done posted Big Fish Cove on there. Yeah, he knows. But yeah, it was it's coming. We just me and him's got to kind of figure out which direction we're gonna go with it. It was kind of at the Noe outdoor thing, more for a conversation piece, and just people were asking, so it's kind of that's what I wanted. I wanted everybody to see it, say, "What's that? What's that? What's that?"
Yeah.
But it's coming. We just don't know the information yet.
Right. And then Blake said message you on TikTok, and you can probably message you there, Facebook.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yep. And then Chandler answered that question there. I see that. Let's see. Okay. So Eric said, I'll come up and buy some wash for a good chicken lesson. He means a lesson on chick. That place changes so dang fast.
I I got to get back out there. I got kids I give lessons to. Their dad baseball lessons. I do that too. Monday, Tuesday. I did that tonight after work. I got off work at 5 and went and did 4 baseball lessons before coming doing this. I still do that instead of coaching. But I got kids that I've been giving lessons to for years. Their dad's like, "You got to take him fishing." I'm like, "Shut. I ain't taking nobody fishing until I can get out there and
Start catching some
figure
fish.
them out again." Yeah.
I mean, doing these shows, it takes away from the weekend fishing trips. That's for absolute sure. Because I am jonesing to go back on the water, and it doesn't like it's going to happen for a couple of weeks for sure. But guys, talking about the shows, I wanted to say something while Alan's on here, just kind of get it out there. I know I enjoy going to the shows. I enjoy meeting everybody. I enjoy doing talking and visiting and everything like that. And I appreciate. I want to tell all the viewers and anybody that's watching that might watch this in the future, you don't know how much it means when somebody comes up and shakes your hand and says, "Tony, I've been watching you. I follow you," stuff like that. That is the coolest thing. And I want to say thank you to everybody for that. That is like, you just don't think about it. I'm there thinking I'm going to get content, that I'm going to be helping a booth out that I've known for a while or whatever. And then to have just people after people after people walk up, shake your hand, and just treat you like almost like royalty almost. And I'll never forget it, guys. I'll never forget it. It just means the world to me, and all the friends I've made through the show, through the actual shows in person, through this show, and the live well. Just want to say thank y'all for that. That means a lot to me as well. And I know that I know Alan. I know you. Heck, I met you through TikTok, but the shows is where we hang out most at and stuff like that. We talk pretty regular, but I mean, it makes a big difference. When you guys go to these shows and meet the people that you see online or the products you use, go to those shows and visit with them. Even if you don't buy a lot of stuff, that means the world to those businesses as well. I know it does. It makes a big difference in their year. Honestly, I talked with Brazzalos this week, and somebody asked him the question, like, how much does the show really do for you, considering they got pretty big with Pat winning that elite on it. And he said it really carries you through certain months. Doing those shows carries you. He even got him some strutters in there. Or was that the jig?
No, that's the strutters. I got me some special color strutters for Chick and Nicky Jack. Yeah, well, yeah. See, look, that's what I got. See, I got some special colors.
Absolutely, man. Well, dude, I appreciate you stopping by. I know there's so much. There's guys, if you want to try the product out, BigAlSpeedShine.com. It's available on the website. Message him on TikTok. Follow him on TikTok. He's growing his channel. Y'all make sure you follow him. But dude, I appreciate you stopping by. I got Luke in the back, and he's in the backstage. We're gonna bring him in here in just a minute. But dude, I wanted to say thank you for taking the time to come on here tonight, last minute, and kind of help me get through this first hour, so I didn't have to sound like a babbling idiot for very long.
You got that voice. You'd have been fine, Tony.
Well, I appreciate it, man.
Thank you, man. And look, anybody got any questions, you can always reach out to me on TikTok or Facebook, anything like that. And if I don't get right back with you, I'll do my best to get to you. Like I said, I'm only doing about 15 things, so I turned 56 here in a couple of weeks, and I kind of had my boss tell me today, he said, you're getting older, at some point you got to try to slow down. I go, that's scary.
Yeah, it is.
But hey, before I go, I was going to tell you real quick that I did break down as bad as I didn't want to, and I got me one of them rear view mirror hangers for my truck. I mean, that's about the best I can tell you that I know.
Oh, man.
I don't know, hey, but I got me one. So, but hey, thank you for all you do, Tony, and any of y'all. Like I said, y'all give me a chance. Most of my people are repeat customers anyway, so let's go. Let's slick it up.
All right, buddy. I appreciate it, man. Absolutely. Y'all go check it out. BigAlSpeedShine.com. Thank you again. I'll see you. I'll talk to you later, buddy. Thank you.
All right, thank you, man. See you.
See you, man. All right, guys. We're fixing to bring Luke on real quick right now. Luke, what's happening, man?
What's up? How are you?
Man, I can't complain a bit, man. Cannot complain a bit. Thank you for stopping by. We had Big Al Speed Shine on here just to fill up that first hour and talk about that product and stuff. And man, I really appreciate you stopping by and hanging out with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me along.
How's things going?
They're going, man. Things are always busy, but we're getting through them.
You are a working man. I mean, like I see you all the time on social media, and then you social media, but you also work a full-time job, so you're busy all the time with it. So I don't know how you do it, man. I really don't. I have no idea how you keep up with it.
Yeah, I see some of these other guys that they've quit their jobs and started doing social media full time. That's good for them. That's just a jump that I still haven't seen. That, in my opinion, there's enough money in it for me to feel like it's stable in any sense or form. So I'm still sticking with the normal job, and I just do it on the side for fun, and just
Well, man,
whenever I have time to it.
you're absolutely killing it. You're one. So it's one of those things where, like, when Danny gave me the show on Monday nights, he's like, you got to find your guest, you got to do all this stuff. And there was a group of guys that I'm like, okay, I got this one, this. I know those are the three guys that I want to talk to. And you're one of my top guys. I'm like, I want to talk to Luke, see if I can get him on the show. But I know being an hour difference from us over here, and then obviously knowing that you work, and then you're trying to build content and you fish tournaments, I'm like, I don't know if I would be get the guy on here or not. I didn't know how much you were able to get on and do podcasting at night.
I'm not gonna lie. Lately, I've been slacking, but my normal days get up at 7:15 with the girls, and then hang out with them all morning. I do my posting in the morning, but I don't really make any videos. And I go to work like 11 to 7, get home, normally cooking dinner. Wife's upstairs cooking dinner right now, picking up a little slack for me, and then put the girls to bed. And about 10 to 1 a.m., it's time to make whatever videos we got to make, and then rinse and repeat the next day. And it's been a vicious cycle of that for many years now, and I think it's catching up to me because I've been going to sleep a little early here lately.
Hey, I don't know how old you are, but something about this time of the year here lately, the last couple of weeks for me, it's the same way. I get off work, and it's all I can do to get out of the recliner to come up and do a show or anything else. Like, and I need to go fishing.
No, I've been finding my way out fishing. I've been trying to get back. I'm fat, but I've been trying to get back into fishing shape. Just that being out there, getting tired, waking up the next day, just doing it again. Like, I've been trying to get back into that shape. So.
Yeah. So how long have you been doing the content game? When did you get started doing this?
I kind of started posting about 6 years ago. I never really took it seriously. I got into fishing. I've probably been tournament fishing like 8 or 9 years now. And I had a buddy, Bobby Roberts, that owns Motion Fishing, and he said, "Man, you'd be great on social media." And I said, "I don't think anybody would be interested, And he goes, "No," he goes, "You're a unique enough cat. Like, people would really like it." So I just started. Of course, the first 50 videos you post are trash, but I enjoyed doing it. Like, that's why I really enjoyed it. And that's why I kept with it. And, it's led me to some great places in fishing that I really probably weren't obtainable without me doing that.
Right. So when did it dawn on you that this might be something that this is actually going to work out? Like, what was that point? Do you remember that point, like a video or something? You were like, man, this might actually happen.
No, I never really remember that. I don't really remember that point. Like, I still believe to this day, like, if I wanted to just start another page and like just get views, I could probably get a lot of views.
Oh yeah.
And I make a lot of funny content, and that's just me. Like, I want to be funny. I want to joke about things. I joke about a lot of things that shouldn't be joked about. But I mean, then I try to give some tips, and then now, like, I'm kind of implementing my life into it, showing the girls and like growing up and being a part of tournament fishing and all. Like, that's kind of where it's formed to. Like, it started as me just trying to be funny, and it's kind of transforming into, well, here's my life. Like, this is what I'm going down. Like, this is the stuff I'm dealing with every day, whether it's taking the girls to the tackle shop or going practicing or tournament fishing. Like, it's kind of turned into all encompassing, showing more of my life than I ever thought I would. But
yeah, that's still something that, I'll show some stuff from time to time, family wise, but I'm kind of overly cautious, I guess, about doing that. So, I mean, I think it, it definitely helps people get to know you better, for sure. It's just kind of scary to do kind of stuff like that. Start bringing the family into it a little more.
As it should be. I mean, it should be scary. And I'm not ever saying I'm going to stick to that. I think, like, I look back, like, I get the memories on my Facebook, like, every day. Like, here's what you were doing 5 years ago, and I find that stuff cool that maybe 5 years from now, a video pop up, me and my little daughter made together, and I can enjoy stuff like that. So it's probably a double-edged sword, but that's the way I'm treating it right now until it tells me I need it to be treated any differently.
Well, I think it's a great idea. Like I said, people, that's the one thing about social media is people forget that folks doing social media are real people. Like, I get all the time, I didn't know you work full time. I thought you fished full time. Like, Yeah, I mean, I'm a multimillionaire behind the scenes here. I mean, no, I'm not. I work a full-time job and try to do what I can on the social media side too. But yeah, so I got a question. Thad Moody Outdoors wants to know: do you hunt? Missouri for a bit for some research. I helped with led to y'all getting a bear season. Caught my first smallie after tagging my bear first year there. So he just wants to know if you hunt there.
I used to hunt a lot, bow hunt primarily. I used to be real big into that, and then the fishing. That's always kind of championship season around here for the month of October. Like that's when all of our championships are. So I was missing out on a lot of the good bow hunting, and then honestly, the fishing got to be so good in November, I didn't want to go bow hunting anymore. So I
Right.
kind of sold the bow, and I haven't really been. I mean, I got a farm and a little house here that I could go if I wanted to, but I've kind of laid the. I take my nieces and nephews out. They show interest. I take them out here, and Uncle Luke's undefeated at getting everybody a deer. So we get them a deer, but I don't buy. I'd rather watch them shoot one. I've shot a lot of deer in my life. Like maybe one day I want to pick it up again, but for right now, for me, it's all about the fish. The fishing sucked the last couple falls. I've thought about taking it back up because I'd rather be in a tree than chasing fish that don't want to bite.
Really, man.
Yeah.
So I don't. I've never been out there and fished out there, obviously. So I don't know how it fishes out there for y'all. But man, the fall out here is stupid good. So it's one of my favorite times. In fact, it's probably my most favorite time because all the other boats leave, and I can actually get out there and do some fishing for sure. So what kind of fisherman are you? Power fisherman, finesse fisherman? I think
I
know
would
the answer
say,
to
I
that.
mean, I'm a power fisherman, but I would say, more recently, I'm an adaptive fisherman.
There you go.
I've had to kind of learn outside the box of some of the things, we're seeing all over the tournament scene. I don't think, I don't think you can be competitive without learning that stuff. We'll put it that way. I
I
think if
agree.
you, I think if you stick in your old mind frame, you're going to get stuck at the bottom of the leaderboard. I think you got to continuously adapt and learn. And I just spent a whole day yesterday trying to track down some of those urchin looking baits. I finally found some, but it took me all day to do it.
Man,
Um,
I spent the last 2 days surrounded by them. So I'm surrounded by
yeah,
them at the show out here. Hey, so have you had a chance to throw any yet?
I don't have any yet. They're all on the way. They're in the mail.
I hadn't thrown one. I hear people talking about it, but I haven't even bought. Well, I bought some from Cross Bait Co. out in Texas, but I haven't even thrown those yet. I haven't even tried it. So good luck with that. I heard they're good though. So maybe there'll be
We'll
something.
see.
Yeah, maybe it'll be something you can do and um, you know, show some folks how to do it because I've noticed I've noticed some of the content you put out here lately. The how-to stuff is really good too, and it kind of gets you hanging on to what you're saying because if people listen to it, it's actually good stuff. I mean, it's really good.
That's the
How-to stuff.
problem. That's the problem with like creating content is like some of the best information I ever gave some of my least viewed videos. And that's like I gave away some good stuff and nobody really apparently listened, but the people that did listen really appreciate it. But it's very small. So that's why, that's where I try to find a good even of posting. I try to post a little bit of everything. That way, you got to keep the algorithm happy. You got to keep the people that really follow you happy and the people that want to learn happy. Like you got to keep everybody a little bit happy and it's hard
Yeah.
to do in one day. So that's why I try to spread it around a little bit. You never know what you're going to get out of me. You might get a rant, you might get how to do this. You don't ever really know.
Right. And that's something Michael Porter, Bass and Bougie, and I talked about. We've talked about several times, like, because people always beat him up about, why don't you show fish catches? He said, nobody watches it. Nobody wants to see fish catches. And I'm
No.
bad about posting a lot of fish catches because I enjoy it too. So I get that. And, but the big thing is, I mean, with teaching people, I get the most enjoyment out of doing stuff like that. But the problem is I don't feel like I'm a good teacher. That's the problem. And I mean, I don't know if you ever feel that way. If you get on the water and go, man, it's a great learning experience here, but I don't know if it's going to come across the way I want it to or not. That's the other thing is trying to get it to come across for sure.
There's definitely some lures that I feel comfortable about telling what I know about because I feel like I understand them very well. And then there's other lures. You've never seen me give a how-to on how to fish a drop shot because I suck at fishing a drop shot. But we want to talk about how to throw a jig in the spring in dirty water. I'll give you a full breakdown on that because I feel very comfortable about it. Or throwing a
Yep.
wiggle wart on a clear water rocky lake. I'll break down that. I feel very comfortable doing that. It just kind of depends. Like I don't want to teach anything. I don't want to act like I know more than I do. So if I really know about it, I'll hunker down. And that's kind of hard thing because I am learning. But like I said, like even with the minnow, like I'm giving a few tips, but I don't know enough to I couldn't tell you what Fisher and Aya knows about a minnow or some of these other guys. You know what I mean? There's very few people that know what that kid knows when it comes to doing that kind of thing. But
yeah, I was gonna say I can't even start to even think I'm gonna be in that level of
as far as the regular guy that's like, okay, I got a live scope, I hear these minnows, I'm trying to give basic tips that's going to help him catch a few more fish. Like, okay, well, maybe I was doing that wrong, or maybe I was doing this wrong. Like, I feel like I'm very proficient at it. I'm not on, an elite caliber angle. I'm not up where those guys are. I'm on you're above average weekend fisherman. I feel like I'm probably up there.
Well, you fish a bunch of tournaments too, though, right? I mean, you're a tournament angler. I mean, do pretty well in them from what I've seen.
Yeah, from time to time I get lucky and do good in one or two around the house here. I struggle to win the big one. That's what this year I don't care if I 0 and 9 out of 10, but I wanna win one.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that's all of us.
I mean, well, I get lots of second, thirds, fourths. I finished up there enough that man, it's just eluded me for years, and I've won some the team stuff. We've won Angler of the Year like several times in some of the better trails around here, and it's just like I'm ready to. I just want to win. I don't care about point standing. I want to win one.
You want to win one. So,
yeah.
what's some of the trails you fish?
Fish Ozark Mountain Team Trail. I fished the Solo Series Top 100, which is a qualified solo series. So it's my number one priority. The OMTT would be second, and then after that, there's tons of good tournaments here in Missouri.
Right.
During our off times, like those are kind of running. We kind of pay attention to those, and after that, like we got a local lake here. There's some Friday nighters and weekend derbies. We'll go hopping about anything. We're not too proud. We'll just fish whatever there is to fish. But during the springtime, there's the OMTT and the Solo Series Top 100 is definitely my two priorities to fish, anyways.
I got you, and that's what I had seen. You'd done pretty well in both of those, and I think the most recent one the Solo Series you just fished. Was that the big one you just fished not long ago?
I haven't fished one well, the last one of those they had was in the fall on Truman, like September in Truman. I only had 3. I had a pretty bad. That was actually one of the worst luck days. Like, I don't want to say luck, but I just didn't have anything go my way. It was super cold out, bite was tough, and I had one little area I thought I could catch fish, and I fished that same area for 7 out of the 8 hours of the day because the fish were there. Yeah. And I got there that afternoon. I'd worked over the area a couple times, and I broke a spinnerbait wire, which this is my fault. I tied on one I'd thrown quite a bit before, and I thought I tied on a new one. I just tied on the wrong lure.
Dang.
And then, jumped off a good one on a wiggle wart. But when it's tough, I knew I was fishing for 5 to 7 bites. I wasn't fishing for 40 fish. So, you lose a couple fish and you're only fishing for 5 or 7. Like, that's not good.
So
the next one's a Table Rock here in a couple weeks, and we're going to try to right the ship and get everything back on track for the year.
So you got a couple weeks you'll be fishing that one then. So you're getting prepared for that one coming up.
We're getting ready.
So I'm going to ask this kind of a selfish question. Making content and being a tournament angler. How are you received at the boat ramps or your local lakes and stuff like that when you show up? How are you received by the local folks out there?
I would say it's mostly positive. I mean, of course, there's always going to be some negative detractors to that, but for the major part, it's vastly, I'm received well. I try to give everybody, and I've met people a couple times, and there's so many faces and usernames like, well, I'm this guy, and I'm like, well, it's nice to meet you. Like, I can't hardly till you put faces a couple times, I just can't recognize everybody, but no, everybody seems to like it. Everybody seems to like what I'm doing. Of course, like we said, you're never going to make everybody happy. There's some people that hate what I'm doing. There's some people that probably think I'm the biggest asshole on the planet, but I've learned early that you can't please everybody. So you might as well just do what you think's best and, go on from there.
Yeah, that's been the running thing is most everybody's positive. Like you said, most of it's positive, but every once in a while you get that person. It's like you're burning the lake down, or you're telling all the secrets on this lake or something like that. And that's kind of been where I've gotten the most negative comments from is like, don't tell this stuff. Don't tell everything, hide something. It's like, well, that kind of takes away from the content part. If we hide it, doesn't make it.
Yeah. I mean, I honestly, I won't lie. I've burned my own spots down on my home lake so much. Like, I don't care to film there anymore. Just from it. Every time I go to get there, it's there's somebody sitting on, I want to go here, want to go there. So
yeah,
I don't do hardly any filming on my home lake anymore. Now, if I go to Table Rock, I don't know. I don't have a spot on Table Rock Lake that I've really earned. You know, I might have ran across it or something here or there, but I mean, my
Right.
home lake, like I had some spots that were really good for a lot of years, and a lot of those are not so good anymore because they get overfished. We'll put it
Right. Well, Eric LaRue wants to know. He said, we're listening today. This goes back to your teaching stuff. Give us your favorite tip that serves you the best. What's a strong fishing tip that you give out that's one of your favorites?
I always tell everybody, like, learn one lure at a time. Like, I get a lot of people, they're wanting to learn 10 different baits in a day. I'm like, you just can't do that. Like, I mean, it took me when I started fishing, all I had in my tackle box was jigs and spinner baits. Now, of course, it was the springtime, but up till July, I learned how to catch fish on jigs and spinner baits because that was all I had.
Yeah.
And I would, just change my jig presentation or change where I was throwing it. Like, but that's why I'm so comfortable with a jig today. Like, that's really the lure I learned to fish with, that and a spinner bait. And then, I got into worms. So then I started like Texas rigging a worm and learning that. And this was all pre-scope. This was just dragging around, trying to really
Right.
figure it out. And I wouldn't say we were like ahead of the scope game. Like we had scope about the time ever, I probably had it like, well, the original Panoptics had already came out. So we got LVS 32. That was the first, that we got it probably a year after it was released. And like the thing I wish I would have done more, I know this has gotten in the scope and not what I would have done there, but like I wish I would have learned more then and not been behind the game. Like we used it to like, oh, there goes our bait to the bottom, and we'd quit watching it and just fish. We didn't use it to its maximum capabilities. We'll put it that way.
Right. Right.
But no, if somebody wanted to tip, like, yeah, just, if you want to learn to fish a jig, like fish a jig until you feel like you're good at fishing a jig. And that's very hard to do in a tournament setting. At the time, I wasn't tournament fishing a lot. I was just fishing. So it allowed me, I could throw whatever lure I want and it didn't really cost me anything.
Right.
If you're going to, you're going to have to put some time in. Like last winter, I went out, didn't fish hardly any tournaments, but I put in a ton of time with a minnow to get better with a minnow because I knew that's what was going to play the first month we fished tournaments.
Right.
So I went out and got vastly better at it in one winter. And then this winter, I'm still working on it because I still feel like I'm behind a lot of people at throwing it. So I'm still out there working.
I've had it for 4 years, however long I've had the boat. I've had it that long, and it wasn't until this year. And I thought I was decent. And when I say decent, like I was comfortable, doing it myself. And then I go on the boat with Eric, and he's showing me all different kind of stuff. I'm going, I've been missing a lot of fish here that I didn't know I was missing, just because I hadn't been on the boat with anybody else that knew what they were doing. I fished with a lot of older guys who could care less if it was on the boat, and they're like,
right.
So I totally get that. G-Dad Outdoors wants to know, and I think we answered this question a little bit earlier, but I'm gonna let you answer it again. When did your journey become real? What was the moment when you knew this was who you are and what you were going to be doing? And that could be fishing, it could be content, however you want to answer that question.
I mean, yeah, like we talked about in the content side, I talk a little bit more on the fishing side. Like,
yeah,
my family, we grew up crappie. We've always fished. We were always avid crappie fishermen. Like my granddaddy probably caught more crappie than anybody in the state of Missouri in his whole life. Like my grandpa thinks he invented the jigging technique instead of casting. He'll tell you that he's dead now, but he's alive. He'll tell you that, and he believed it. But no, I had a buddy that got into it, and he was just talking about, hey, I want to go bass fishing. No, I didn't want to go. I want to go crappie fishing. And we went crappie fishing one day, and we weren't catching nothing. And he started throwing a rock crawler down the bank, actually, and he caught a couple little bass. And he goes, "We ought to fish, tournaments." And I'm like, man. So the second time I actually ever bass fished was in a tournament, and we sucked.
Wow.
We didn't do no good. we caught 1 4-pounder, and that was it. And he said, well, man, there's another one next weekend on a different lake that's here close. And he said, why don't we go over there and try it? And I was like, yeah, we'll go try it. So then I went to Bass Pro and actually got me a couple rods and a couple bait. I probably bought $100 worth of stuff or with just bait, which was a big investment for me at the time. I don't even know if I liked this.
Right.
Well, we go over there, we catch 18 pounds, we win that tournament. Well, that changes things. You had a little success there quickly. You're like, well, so then from there on, I was just hooked. Like, I had a 16-foot tracker with a 40 horse that the motor barely ran half the time. And that's what we fished tournaments out of for the first 2 years. We fished tournaments out of it. It had a 12-gallon gas tank in it. Couldn't go very far. Yeah, that's what, and that's what I look at my progression. Like, I feel like I've worked my way up. Like I didn't start with any, I started with no bass rods, nobody showing me how, nobody telling me how. It was just what I learned, that 16-foot boat. I spent, I don't know how many hours after I used to work next to my home lake. I worked 2 minutes from the boat ramp. And
Yeah.
after I take that boat to work every day. And after I got off work, I'd drive to the boat ramp and I'd fish till dark. I didn't have wife, kids, nothing like that. I could just go do whatever I want to do. And I learned more just about fishing, doing that and beating my head against the wall every night, trying to figure out what to do to catch a fish. And then, then we talk about, well, then I got a bass boat. Well, then I did the same thing. And then, then we got scope. Well, I did the same thing. Now I'm getting older. I got more responsibilities I used to have,
Yeah.
which I'll admit it. Like, I feel like I'm probably the worst fisherman I've been in the past 5 years right now. And I just feel like I'm falling behind a little bit. Now, I still feel like I'm above average. Like, I go out there, I'm confident, but I know there's a lot more people putting in more work than I am right now. And I'm going to have to get lucky here and there this year to, stay up there. I'm going to have a break or two, make a good decision here when I was going to make a bad decision. Like, I'm going to need some of that to go my way.
Right. Well, I mean, that, you got young kids, and that makes a huge difference when it comes to tournament fishing in general, all kinds of stuff. I mean, I didn't get back into it. I was in my 40s. So, I mean, it's one of those things that happens, but you're still, you're still into it. That's the one good thing. You always go out there and enjoy your day, if nothing else. I mean, I didn't always have to be about the tournaments, I guess,
I thought about this the other way. Like, if it all went away tomorrow, like if I just said, I'm going to quit tournament fishing. I wouldn't quit completely. Like, I'd still fish some little tournaments here around the house, and I'd probably still post. But I'm luckily right now. Like, I don't think I have to fish any sort of relevant tournament to maintain the sponsors I have, to maintain what I'm doing. I think I could do my own thing, and they'd be perfectly fine with it. They didn't sign me because I'm a tournament level pro. They signed me from what I bring on social media side. And I think a lot of people can understand that, and they can implement that on themselves.
Right. Absolutely. I mean, that's a very good point that, folks listening to the show, listen to it later on, is you don't have to. I did a video a while back. I'm never going to be a pro fisherman. I thought I wanted to be one when I was younger. I pulled the card out of the Bass Pro or Bass Master magazine one year, and I really quickly realized I was never going to be a pro. But anyway, I mean, you can still do the fishing thing and not be a pro at it. Like you said, I mean, you're doing great with the content, and that's what people, your sponsors. I mean, you got a ton of sponsors, and they love you for that. That's the part that's cool about it.
Yeah, I mean, everybody. I feel like in the fishing world, like everybody has a hand, like a poker hand that we all play, and there's always a winning hand. You just got to learn how to play your hand.
That's a very good saying right there. I like that. Everybody's got a hand. You just got to play what's dealt, for sure.
That's right.
So who would you say, going back to your story a minute ago, getting into bass fishing, learning to bass fish, who was your biggest influence outside of like family? Who were you watching? Who were you trying to learn from to learn how you were going to be as a fisherman?
Man, my buddy was big on watching videos. I got to go learn. I can see these old boys throwing these dice, and I got to go show myself. Like, I can't watch. Sure, I watched a lot of random YouTube, how to rig, how to do this. Watched a lot of like what's people line recommendations. And over the years, like, I fine tuned that. Like, I have my own opinion on it now. Like, I might watch what you say, but if I think my opinion's better, I'm going to do what I want. I'm going to do what I want to do, kind of thing. So I think every fisherman gets there. When we're starting out, we're influenced. Like, we want to. Okay, I see people throwing chatterbait on 20-pound line. Well, maybe I like it on 15 better. I'm going to try both, and I'm going to end up see where I like to fall. I know I lost some money one time for throwing a spinnerbait on 15-pound line when I should have had it on 20-pound line. So I quit throwing it on 15-pound line, and now if I'm throwing a spinnerbait, it's on 20-pound line.
But that's a good point. You got, it's like don't touch a hot stove. You don't ever learn that until you touch a hot stove the first time. It's like you got to learn for yourself, kind of thing.
That's right. You throw a spinnerbait next to a tree, and an old biggin wraps you around the tree and breaks you off. You're like, well, next time I'm gonna bump that line up a size.
Exactly. And then you won't ever hear anybody ever tells you, oh, you need to be throwing on 15. Like, no, I'll never do that again.
No, I'll never do that
twice. Won't get me a second time.
Nope.
Bottom line outdoors wants to know, what software do you use to edit your videos, or do you even edit?
I use whatever is on my wife's old computer. I really don't even know what it is. Oh, and no, my short form video, I edit everything in TikTok on my phone. I don't have a editing software. Never paid for any. Like
Yeah.
YouTube, I use whatever on my old lady's computer. On all my short form, it's all edited directly in TikTok. I'm so comfortable with it now that it's just I can do it pretty quickly. It's
Yeah.
pretty efficient. It turns out well. Lots of good music selection. Like there's just I don't see a reason to edit anything outside of TikTok.
Keep it simple, man. That's one of the things that I'm terrible about. Keeping it simple. I'll overdo something in a heartbeat for sure. So we'll stick with the content thing. So we brought that question up. Do you build out a schedule for content? Do you think about things ahead of time, or just as they pop up? Do you just constantly scroll looking for ideas? How do you build your content game, so to speak, for your fishing stuff?
Man, I don't. I just shoot from the hip. I'm not a planner. If if I see like a funny video, I might want to, like not restitch or something. I'll save it and wait till I'm by myself and do it that way. The wife and kids aren't upstairs hollering and screaming. But besides that, like if it comes to shooting on the water stuff, like it's basically going to be based around what time of year it is and what I'm using. So like right now, it's all about jerk baits, A rigs, like jigs. That's what it's all going to be around for me. Here in a couple
Right.
months, it'll be chatterbaits, spinnerbaits, flipping, like whatever I'm using. I try to give tips on right now. And sometimes, one thing a lot of people don't talk about is I won't admit it, but like there's a ton to be said for your old videos. I've made a ton of good videos 2 3 years ago that the information is still prevalent now. So I will go back, get that video, and I'll share it again. I know the video does well. A, I know it was a good video because it's already done well once. And B, the information's good. I'm not going to waste it. There's no reason to sit down for me to make that video again when I know I've already made it well once, in my opinion.
So you're not pulling a tactical bass and shooting the same video year after year after year after year. You just reposting.
Absolutely. If it's a good video and I feel like the information is still good and prevalent, I just repost it.
Just repost it. That's pretty simple, because like I said, I've wondered about that, because I've had some videos do decent, and I'm like, well, do I reshoot it or do I just repost it? Because I don't know how some of the platforms, I know like YouTube kind of frowns on recycled content a little more than like Facebook and stuff like that does. So
sure. I mean, when it comes down to the money side of it, like right now, the only place that's really paying me, I don't know about anybody else, but like all my main income comes from Facebook. So that's what I'm really worried about.
We were talking about that at the show this weekend. I was with Tyler Ward and Brazalo's Custom Lures out there, and we were talking about that Facebook is pushing really hard right now and monetizing a lot more people than they did before, and kind of the TikTok stuff fell off with the new ownership or whatever. We were all talking about how he even said he focuses like 5 or 6 videos a day on Facebook versus maybe once a day on TikTok. So I don't know if you get into the playing that game with that stuff, or if you just post and just throw it out there.
I play the same game. I post the same video across all platforms at the same time of day, and I could definitely probably play more in to Facebook than I am playing into it. But man, like as long as they're giving me what's normal every month, I'm not trying to be over the top. I'll just take what I can get and
I got
keep
you.
everything even, because one thing I've learned, I've done this long enough now, is like you don't know where the next, like you don't know if TikTok's going to pay better next year, or Instagram or Facebook, or of course YouTube. Long form always pays well. I will admit, for anybody that wants to do long form, it takes the most time and it's not even close.
Yeah.
The biggest factor that runs into me doing YouTube is like time. I mean, and then now you're such a competition race against everybody else. Like I have to sit here as a family man and think, is it worth my time to go do that? I still like people seeing the information. I still like all my tournament videos being out there. But like last year, like it wasn't. I had 2 under 2. I had no time to mess with it.
Man, that's a rough gig when you got small ones like that. That makes it hard to get anything done outside of taking care of them little ones. That's for sure.
Yeah, no, it takes it's definitely. I've learned a lot. Like I thought I was busy before. Add 2 under 2 to the mix, and you'll really figure out you're busy.
Yeah, Yeah, I'm glad I'm away from that for now. I got a granddaughter that's 4. That's about, and she gets to go back to mama. She goes back to mama. I don't have to
Right.
do that. I don't have to do that for sure. And on TikTok, Hellabass says Facebook slaps. I mean, I'm telling you right now, Facebook seems to be the jam. And even though, and I still don't post on there as much as I probably should because I'm hard headed like that. But so you talked about sponsors earlier, and it's one of those things. Obviously, talking to the content creator guys, we've talked about it on the live well when I was doing that show a lot with Danny and them. Tips, recommendations for guys that are trying to find their foothold in the sponsorship game, because I go to a lot of the shows and stuff, and I'm still the guy that I go up and I talk to these guys, I interview them, they want to hand me something for free, and I'm like, no, I want to pay for it, because I'm not trying to do this to get stuff for free. But what are any kind of tips you can give out to some of the folks maybe watching that are wanting to start and get sponsorship, so to speak? What are some of those ways they can think about it that's ethical and the right way to handle business going into it?
I mean, I think this is such a, we could sit here and talk about this for 3 or 4 hours. Like, I think the game since I've come around has really changed. Like, when I first started doing this, I never thought about like what I was posting based on how it would do on social. It was just what I was using. And it really was. It was, if I'm using a motion jig with a Reactions Innovations beaver, I'd make a quick little caption, tag motion, tag Reaction Innovation. And I got lucky early on, and a lot of them, like Reaction Innovations, would reshare my pictures. Like they would tag me and say, I took some good pictures. I don't take nearly good pictures now as I took. I'm just in a hurry now. I'm like, yeah, click a couple pictures and I'm in a hurry. But no, I mean, back then, like I had Ducket share a lot of when I used Ducket rods. I wasn't sponsored by Ducket. I tagged them in my post, let them know I was there. And, I've never been sponsored by Ducket rods, but I probably got Ducket rods a lot of views back in the day, because that's all rods I had was when I was Ducket rods. I think back then a guy could really get in through that way. They could kind of show their worth when people kept seeing that pop up, and they could share that post or share that video or whatever. Now I think it's a completely different game. I think there's a lot of people out there wearing a lot of logos that they have nothing to do with. I think there's a lot of people out there that are going above and beyond, that are probably great people, that, that'll probably never, honestly, they'll probably never get the stronghold just from it being like, it's so competitive nowadays. Like, it's so competitive. And I feel bad for those people, because they're like, when I'm scrolling, like, because I handle a lot of marketing stuff and for Evolve, like I handle a ton. I've handled the team. I handle a ton of that stuff. And I'll see people that I'm like, this guy does good stuff. Like he really does. But he's got 1,600 followers. He doesn't do it that consistently. And, I look at it from a different way. So I'd reach out to this guy and I would say, hey, man, like, I see your stuff. I like it personally because I'm looking at it. I don't need you shooting me a bunch of stuff on your page. I want to send you some stuff. I want to hook you up, and I just want you to take content to send to me. I'm going to post it on the Evolve page. They're like,
Okay.
Sweet, that works for me. And is that a sponsorship in any way or form? No, but I feel like I'm trying to help him out by saying, hey, this is who it is. They took the pictures. That's kind of the old school way of thinking about it. New school, man, like I said, I run several accounts and I get blown up. I mean, it is every day. There is 3, 4, 5 people in there. Hey, I'm 13. I'm 13 to 16. I go to this high school. I'm trying to do this. This is my dream. Man, I used to try to reply to a lot, but there's so many now. Like you can't. Eventually, you can't. One singular company can't help everybody. Like it's impossible.
Right.
That's why there's tons of companies in the fishing industry, because not one single company could support all these people.
That's right.
But if it comes about, forgetting it yourself, like you got to be unique. Like, you got to stand out a little bit. It can't just be the same thing everybody else is doing. There's still people that win. Like, even I talk about how hard it is. There's still people, while I may be moving like this, they're moving faster. They're still gaining more momentum than me. One thing for me was always be myself. Like, I got to dip in right now while we're talking. I told everybody I work with, like, if you don't like it, that's fine. Like, I make it very upfront. One thing, I have noticed about myself is over the last couple of years is I had some people tell me, they're like, if you ever want to move up this deal, like, I threw a lot of curse words on camera. Like, it was just 100%. I
Yeah.
tried to calm that down because, it did make sense. I go to East Tennessee or these other shows. I would have some kids, 13, 12, 16. They're watching my stuff. They're like, you need to try to be better. There's still sometimes I get worked up about some things, but besides that, I try to be better. I try to be
I
better than
get
I
it.
was.
I get it,
Um,
man.
I don't want to become Mr. Polished. I don't want to become Mr. Yes or No Sir,
Right.
Mr. like shake hand. I want to be me, but you got to be unique in some way, shape, or form. Like, you got to stand out a little bit. You either have to make really, really good content. You got to be you got to be a different character. You got to be able to catch them, which, if you ask me, like, catching them's the least, like, unless you're an Elite Series pro, catching them matters the least out of all those. I would rather have somebody promoting the Evolve brand that takes good media and has a good character than I would. Well, they go out and win every Thursday nighter on their home lake. Like, that doesn't factor into any of my decisions.
You actually answered my next question, was what was going to be that one factor that you look for, since you do manage, some content, what was going to be that one thing? And you kind of answered that right there, that being the unique, shooting good video, doing something that, like you said, catching fish is fun. And a lot of guys can catch fish. We all know it, but being that unique, something that brings it across. And I want to say something personally. One of the reasons I liked following you originally is because I am a dipper myself. And I had so many comments like, man, could you get more dip in your mouth? I've eased back on over the last couple of months. I've started doing the
Zins.
yeah, well, I'm on the Grizzly 15s right now because I came off, man.
Gotcha.
If I was awake and half asleep, I had a dip in like that. And I always, watch your stuff. I'm like, dude's got one in. I can do that. And I kind of eased back a little bit. I had to kind of come back off of it a little bit because doing it since you're 12 years old, it's a long time to be dipping. So
Yeah, I mean, I had, I still get blowback. It doesn't bother me. And
Yeah.
the longer you do it, like comments on the internet, I rarely find a comment on the internet that's gonna offend me.
No.
I've just done it so long. Like, there's a million people out there with a million different opinions. And nobody that sponsors me seems to have a problem with me having one in. Now, if I'm gonna make a video for them that they're gonna post on their page, it's not on my page, I'll take it out. I'll do it the right way because I don't know how they want to perceive that. But if it's on my page and I'm talking about it, I'll do whatever I want.
Exactly. I want to give a shout out to Money Bass. He's in the chat. Dropped a $2 chat there. Appreciate that, man. I got to meet him for the first time. Well, I think I met him last year too at the Noe show. Good dude. Eric said Snuff Cup should definitely sponsor you. I wouldn't know who you were if it didn't have a dip in it. It's part of who you are, and that's part of what I like. Just your real, exactly. And that's out of all the stuff bringing you on tonight, that was really more what it was about. Is because you're like one of the regular guys fishing. I mean, you're not. Again, I want to learn how to shoot video. That's my goal, is to learn how to get better at doing the content game. But when it comes to getting on the boat, and if people see me throwing a lure, they're gonna see Tony, because I'm be honest with you, I'm not polished either on the water. I'm a fat dude that sweats in every video. I mean, I had a dip in, and I cuss because I was in the Marine Corps. I cuss a lot. My wife, the first video I ever recorded, she's like, you can't put that out anywhere. Nobody's ever going to want to work with you talking like that. And I'm like,
if anybody wants to see some Jim Dandies with some custom, like the first 2 years I did YouTube, I told me and my tournament partner, like, it's all in there. Like, it's none of it's whatever was said was said.
yeah,
I finally watched some of them, and I'm like, okay, it's every other word. Like, it's every other word here. We're saying something that we shouldn't be saying. And I started cutting a lot of the F-bombs. Some of the harsher stuff, I cut a lot of it out.
yeah.
But I suck at editing. So if you watch that video, you're gonna see the whole video. But the moment that me or my partner says something, the sound's just gonna go silent for half a second. That was the only way I knew how to edit. I couldn't put a beep. I didn't know how to put anything in there. So I just edited out the sound for a second.
Just cut the sound completely out of it. I
did. Just cut the sound out of it for half a second, and we're good.
Hey, you got to do what you got to do, man. Listen, that's part of it. Hey, till you figure out it took me forever to figure out the beat part of it. I'm like, I still
haven't even spent the time to figure it out.
Well,
that seemed to work. So
yeah, then you get into it, and you're like, do I really want to put the beep in there? Because it really takes away from the way the video feels. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And Hellbass just figured out we were over here on YouTube. Good deal, man. Glad you're over here. Yeah, and then Eric LaRue says the real comment section goes down over here. It does. It's hard to. I've got it on my phone. I've got the TikTok pulled up on my phone. It's hard to read because it's not my account. I'm looking at my account on this page, but yeah, so that's pretty good. So with getting into, I'm sticking with the sponsor stuff just for a little bit longer. And guys, if y'all got comments, ask him. He's here. That's why he's here. Ask the comment. Blow up the comments for us. But again, knowing that because I just realized, it just dawned on me, I don't know, it's been about 3 or 4 days ago where I was seeing the Evolve videos. And I heard your voice talking, and it's the Evolve videos. And I was like, he's doing something with Evolve, and Evolve used to sponsor the Live Well podcast. I don't think it was last year sometime, I think.
Yeah.
And so reaching out to a spot, to somebody that you want to work with, let's put it that way. I don't want to say sponsor because I hate the word sponsor because it doesn't feel real to me. How are you approaching them? What is your tactic for approaching somebody and saying, hey, I would like to work with you to help get your product out there, to grow your product, to help, maybe help me along the way? How are you reaching out to folks?
Man, it's been a while since I reached out about anything. I think last summer I did reach out to Plano, and I actually started working with Plano after that. And it was kind of just, I noticed, and I wouldn't have reached out, but I noticed they'd liked and shared some of the stuff because they seen my tackle boxes, and I said, hey, I got these old ones which I love, but I'm interested in some of the Edge stuff. And it started out as, I will send you a couple, and they sent me a couple, and I really liked them because I was looking for something to. And I'd bought the spinnerbait box and the jig box. I already had those. I seen some other of the boxes they had. The frog box, I was real interested in the frog box. Like, it keeps them all sitting up and down, just stuff like that. And man, I said, hey, would y'all possibly, be into doing something? And they said, well, here, let's see what you can do. So I made a couple videos. They liked them. I guess they did well for them. And they said, okay, here, we'll do X, Y, and Z. And it was history after that. It's been a long time. Most of the people I worked with, like Pride Rods, like Robert found me, and the first time I talked to Robert, I was drunk at a Kenny Chesney concert at the casino afterwards. And I'm talking, me and my wife, she was my fiance, then I'm standing out talking to this guy in the casino, like the Commons area at like 1:30 in the morning. Like that was the first time I ever talked to Robert, and like with Evolve, I got in pretty early with them, and like I just always try to go above and beyond. That's been my deal. Like if I say I can do this, I'm gonna try to do more. That way they have no doubt that I'm trying my hardest and they're hopefully getting the best return on what they're giving.
Okay. Let's flip that then. Let's flip it the other way. Companies reaching out to you. How are you deciphering through the stuff and the BS stuff? Like, there's companies going to reach out to these young kids that are watching, or whoever may watch this video later on, and there's going to be a bunch of them reach out. How are you wading through, this is worth my time, this is not worth my time, and the steps you're taking there?
Well, the first thing I do is, I would go see like their product offering. I'd be like, okay, what do they have? And I'm not going to lie to you, I'm not somebody that's looking to jump around a whole lot. I've had a lot of the same sponsors for 5-6 years now. And a lot of them become more than sponsors, like they become friends. And I'm going to kind of give this on two different levels because I've just recently learned like what it's like to work with bigger companies in the industry. Let's say, I work with Plano, work with a little bit of Pure Fishing, work with Trocar, work with Nitro Boats. It's a lot more difficult to work with them. And I'll say this on camera just from the fact that they have a lot more going on and they have a lot more people. Are they great people? Yes, they're great people. They're extremely more busy where I can call Bobby that owns Motion Fishing, much smaller, very small company. He's the best man at my wedding. I can call him right now. He answers his phone.
Right.
And that's what I was used to for so long. Like anybody that was a big sponsor of mine, we'd become friends. So I could call them daylight to dark and beyond dark. They'd answer their phone. We could talk. We may not even say a word about fishing. We may just talk about how our day was.
Right.
Well, now I'm having to learn how to handle some of these bigger companies, and they don't have a ton of time. They don't want to sit and talk on the phone and really talk about how my day was. They want to kind of get to the nuts and bolts of what we got to talk about, and then they got to call somebody else.
Yep.
So I'm having to learn how to speed up what I'm trying to, not speed up what I'm trying to say, but I got to get to what I got to sell them, tell them what I'm getting ready to do, and then go implement it. And they're going to trust off that 20-minute phone call that I'm going to do what I said I'm going to do, and then I'm going to try to do more than what I said I was going to do.
I got you. Now, I had Bass Geek on last week, and we brought up talking. He and I talked for an hour after the show about just the grind of all that stuff. You dealing with contracts and things like that. So, are you hiring attorneys to look over those contracts, or are you just kind of going off the hip with it? Because that's been one of my big questions. Because I'm working with somebody that hasn't come to fruition just yet, but having to write contracts and things like that's kind of scary to jump into.
Yeah, no, definitely for somebody, after you work at it a while, yeah, you're gonna have to deal with contracts. And like I would say with all my smaller companies, there's no contract. It's a handshake. Yeah, I believe you. Like I said, they're all friends. They've never done me south. Is that the best way to go about it? Probably not. But that's the way we've done it for years now. I just expect it's gonna stay the same. These other ones, there's contracts. I always get the contract, sit in my chair, read it cover to cover. Here's what they are going to give me, and here's what they expect of me. And I'm like, okay, like if I can't do that, I need to call them, email them, let them know, like, hey, like this is an awfully lot.
Right.
Maybe we change it. Maybe we do this instead of this because one thing I don't want my page turning into, which I've had some comments and people, like, oh, he's promoting, he's doing this stuff, he's promoting, and I'm thinking, okay, I give roughly there's 30 days in a month. I make 60 to 80 posts a month. Some videos, some just posts. But anyways, between 60 and 80 posts per month.
Right.
And I would say, like, let me think real quick off the top of my head. Like, I would say 10 to 12 of those are sponsored posts. Like it's in the contract. I make this post between this time frame.
Right.
So you got to think, that's roughly like 15% of the time it's going to be a sponsored post.
Right. I mean,
and everybody has that, and you look at some guys' social medias, like I know some guys, that are sponsored by like Pure Fishing or something, like they don't post a lot unless it's for that. Like that's the reason they post is to promote that, and then they don't post.
Right. Yeah. I tried, I messed around with the TikTok shop stuff last year just as a kind of a temporary run on it. And I hated it. I hated doing the sponsored. Yeah. I absolutely could not stand it. And finally, at the point where I hated it the most, I finally got my first comments like, dude, I loved your page, but you're turned into a salesman. And I'm like, yeah, I was making a run without saying it just to see what happened. I mean, it made a little bit of money, but it just turned into honestly, it turned into a job, and I got tired of doing that part of it for sure.
One way, like, I don't know, this may be for you, but one way I implement the TikTok shop, which I don't do it very often, but a lot of it is for my fish catch videos. So like if I catch that fish on a motion fishing football jig and I got a cool video of me, yes, I will just make that a one-off TikTok shop video. I might post it to some other platforms, but like that's the way I'm using that is, okay, here's what I'm actually using. Here's the shop link for it. If you like it, buy it. If you don't, scroll on. Like I'm not pushing it on you. That's what I caught the fish on. And that's the best way I found to implement it for me because it doesn't feel like work. I was just out there fishing. Here's what I caught the fish on. Links right down there. If you want to help me out or want to buy one, try it out, whatever, there they are. If you don't, scroll on. You ain't gonna hurt my feelings at all. Because I was like, I got into, hey, I'll give you a reel, you making a shop video. I got into a couple of those, and man, I didn't like them. I didn't like them at all. I didn't like making the videos. I didn't like any of it.
Yeah. I had a buddy talk me into it because he's got nice car. He's like, dude, TikTok paid for all this. I'm like, okay, I'll give it a shot. So I was started out with like the fish catching stuff. I wanted just going to do fishing lures and things like that. And then it turned into everything that they would offer me, I would get. And like I said, at one point I had like 40 or 50 different things here at the house. I'm going, all right, I'm over. And that was around the Christmas time. I said, I think the last day, New Year's Eve, I want to say it was New Year's Eve. I think I pumped out like 22 videos for TikTok shop just so I could be done with it. And now, like you said, now it's my buddy that does live well treatment, Fish Nerd Lab. I posted some stuff for him, and then I've got some the Magna Lure stuff I got yesterday. Posted some stuff on that one because now it's actually relevant to the content, so it really doesn't feel too bad to do that. I knew this question was going to come up, so I'm going to ask it because it does go along with your sponsorship stuff, and it's something I had noticed. Eric LaRue wants to know, what made you decide on the nitro, and did you pick nitro first, or did the help you out first to get you in that boat? Because he fishes off a nitro, and I hadn't been on a newer nitro at all until I fished with him. The last one I was on was a 90s model, and I'd always kind of fallen into the same group of people that were like, oh, nitro this, nitro that. But man, those are really impressive boats. So what made you decide on the nitro?
Man, the nitro boat's been what I've been in since I bought my first bass boat. It was a 17-foot nitro. Spent a lot of time in that boat, made the jump, got a 19-foot nitro, and this was all on my own dime. This was not a nickel of anything else. It was kind of the same, and I find it funny. It's just funny how things work out sometimes. We were actually in the NICU. We just had my last daughter, so it's been 9 months ago now. It was actually last May. We were sitting in there, and I just actually right before we went in there, I got third in the top 100, and I took a picture for the rewards, and I literally said, "Love running a nitro boat because they have great rewards programs. Got $500 extra nitro money." The gal that happens to be the head marketing manager for Nitro seen that. She's seen all the letters were ripped off the side of my boat, and she said, "Hey, let me send you some new letters. That way, people can actually read what your boat says." And I said, "No, ma'am. I already have some. I just haven't put them on because I'm not going to put them on until I go to sell my boat because they're literally just end up because I fish in a lot of trees."
Right.
Boat's fault they fall off? Absolutely not. My fault? Yeah, I'm rough. I mean, I buy a boat to use it. I don't buy a boat to look at it. And people that know me know that. My boat, it's always in the water or it's sitting in my driveway. That's where it's at.
Right.
And I said, she said, okay. And she kind of laughed and she goes, "Well, if you ever need anything, just let me know." And, there's difference between cold calling somebody, but I kind of seen my shop there. So I kind of said, "Hey, like, is there anything possibility we could, do something together next year? Because like I've always had a nitro boat, probably going to buy another one." I was going to buy one anyway. So I kind of shot my shot and things kind of worked out. And that was the end of that. Like, I wouldn't say that was a cold call. She kind of, she
opened the door.
she DM'd me and kind of asked, and I just kind of asked back. And from there on, it went on down the road, and for me, sometimes, like you said, you got to take your shot. That was my shot and it ended up working out. So
that's pretty good. I like it. I mean, I fished with Eric on his nitro. It's a newer one. And it was a really nice boat. I was really impressed with how well it rode and how well it fished. I mean, he and I are two big guys, and we fished off the front of that boat no problem. It was a great boat. So
I mean, man, I've owned a 17, a 19. My buddy owned a 21. We fished in it for a couple years.
Yeah.
He owns a 20 now. I'm getting ready to get a 20. So I fished in about every size of nitro boat. If you want to know the perks of a little one to the perks of a big one and the negatives and drawback, I can tell you everything for every brand of boat they have. I've been in them all.
Yeah.
And people want to question nitro quality. Sometimes they're like, "Oh, this and that." And I'm like, you know what? I haven't been in a person's boat yet. Phoenix, Skeeter. I haven't ever been to Icon, but I've been in a lot of different bass boats, and they all have about the same issues. Yeah. Overall.
They're every boat brand's going to have something. They're going to have something that happens, or they're going to have all this, like you said, all the same. And they might have the same issue that goes all the way across it. I mean, you just never know what's going to happen with it for sure.
Right. And I've never seen in my eyes, like I've been in a lot of Phoenixes. I've never seen why I would spend an extra $15,000 on a Phoenix compared to a nitro. I've never thought they were $15,000 better. That's just my opinion. Have I fished in them out of a whole year? No, I haven't. But, just a couple trips here and there. I'm like, I wouldn't spend the extra money on this boat over my boat that I currently have.
Yeah. I mean, my only thought before I fished off Eric's boat was, and I could care less really about speed, so to speak, but I've been in a Blazer and I've been in, I've been in the Bullets and the other brands. And it's like, well, they're faster. But then, like I said, when I rode in his, it's a 75-mile-an-hour boat with two big fat boys sitting in it. No offense, Eric. Sorry, buddy. I don't know to hurt your feelings there. But, I mean, we're two big dudes in there. And that nitro still gets across the water pretty good. I mean, so.
Yeah, the Z20 is really fast.
That's what
the Z21's not as fast, but you want to talk about a boat that will run 70, and you can sit there and write an email and eat a sandwich, and that son of a bitch is going straight. And it's going 70 miles. I mean, you don't have to drive it. There's none of it. That son of a bitch just goes 70 mile an hour. I'd take that. My buddy, that old Z21 we loved it. I mean, you could just sit back making a big run and just one hand on the wheel. It wasn't going anywhere. It was going straight.
Eating it. That's what I'm talking about. Money Bass and Hella Bass been here talking, I think, a little bit. And there, he had a question, and maybe you know it because I don't know, but I've been asked a lot. And what do you know what the requirements are to be monetized on Facebook these days? Have you heard?
I don't know.
Because I got monetized last September on Facebook out of nowhere with like 5,000 followers, but I had a video that did really, really well for me. And all of a sudden they're like, "Hey, you're monetized." But I had several people ask me this weekend about how they're monetized on Facebook. And I just don't know I don't know the requisitions now. I don't know what
I've been monetized on Facebook for 3 years now.
Yeah.
like if we wanted to break down the monetization, like back in the day, like I was never one that made a lot of money on TikTok.
Yeah.
There's some people that have made I don't know an exact amount, but it's a pretty good amount off TikTok, and
Yeah.
then my constant money was always Instagram. Like my biggest following for a long time was Instagram. And I made roughly $200 to $600 a month that paid the boat payment. That basically paid my boat payment just
Yeah.
off Instagram. Well, now Instagram doesn't pay nothing, hardly anything,
Really?
and no, and it's basically Facebook. If you want to make any money that's relevant besides doing the TikTok shop, it's either on YouTube or Facebook.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've got another YouTube channel that I've kind of abandoned, but I still make $200 to $300 a month from it, just from that channel. But it's because I was going to ask you that seems to be, a lot of, always heard, Instagram, but I can't figure that one out. That one, I don't know. That's the one I just kind of cross post everything and it automatically shares from Facebook to Instagram because I don't have a clue what they want over there. It makes no sense to me at all.
I will tell you, just on a content creation side, I think Instagram's been in a funk for about a year. Because I've only gained probably like 1,000 or 15, maybe 2,000 in the last year, where I was averaging like 25,000 a year before that. And I noticed they're going through and they're deleting a lot of their bots and all this, which I'm happy about because there's a lot of fake accounts that pop. And like, so what you say, like I might have 50,000 followers, but let's say 30,000 of them are real. They're real active people.
Right.
I'd rather that number be true for everybody than have 1,900,000 of them be fake.
Yep.
But the problem is, I think they've got so caught up in sweeping these out that they're not really worried about a lot else. It's definitely right now, I think the toughest platform to grow on is definitely Instagram. But at the same time, it offers you a good, like for me, that's a little more established, it offers me a good, I would just say comfort zone. Like I'm usually going to post. It's usually not going to do great. It's not going to do terrible. It's going to get the views it's going to get. It's going to do right in the middle. Where Facebook, it could flop. It could get like, sometimes I get like 40 likes, or sometimes it could get 10,000. You don't really know. Okay, I got to post it to find out. TikTok's very streaky for me right now. And there's some things I could do. Like I'm good friends with Jake Bagwell, and Jake Bagwell definitely has done some things that I could take advantage of myself. But I'm just kind of like, that's his thing. I don't really want to do that. I don't really. Well, if you posted a funny video and I wanted to steal it, I'm like, damn, that's funny. I wish I could do that. I won't steal your exact. I'll put my own twist on it to some way, shape, or form.
Right.
Because you can't. Very rarely do I have an idea that I'm like, this is I thought of this and made it to fruition.
Yeah. And Tyler Ward and I were talking about that over the weekend because my biggest question for any content creator I bring on or I talk to in person is like, how do you source ideas? And I know I've already asked that question today, but like I want to be original because I feel like I don't want to rip somebody off. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I've taken other people's videos or a sound or something and put it on my own. But then I sit back and go, I got to make something for 6 more days behind this, and I've got nothing. I mean, I've got nothing's coming to mind, and I'm constantly trying to find a way to source ideas without looking like I don't want to look like a rip-off artist. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't want to do that for sure. But he basically said I just had to get over the fact that people. He said you don't rip them off, you just use it and twist it in your own version, but you're still doing the same. Whether it's audio or whatever you want to call it, it's still the same thing. It's just a different way of spinning it, I guess. So,
and that's absolutely correct. I mean, yeah, I don't think if you, with this day and age and some of the stuff people come up with, that you're going to come up with your own original ideas. Don't get me wrong, I do it, and I love it when I do it because it's the most full. It makes me like, if you want to talk about full and a happy feeling, I'm like, man, I thought of this, I made it to the end. But if you're talking about doing this twice a day, every day, 365 days a year, you're gonna have to use some other ideas. You're not gonna have those ideas all the time.
I agree 100%.
And that's that's kind of one thing. Sorry to cut you off, but that's kind of one thing. Like I never missed a post for like 2.5 years. I posted every day. Like I try to be Mr. Consistent, same time every day, like what they talk about.
Right.
And eventually over time, like, you just figure out like that's the biggest thing is like showing up every day. You
Yep.
can't show up for a month and leave it. You can't show up and you got to show up every day and provide some sort of value. Unless
Yep.
like you said, like the Elite Series, like Elite Series guys or somebody that, they're on TV. They don't need to post as often. They're getting their views other places where
Right.
normal old guy like me, I can't really offer much else unless I'm on those platforms every single day.
And so, do you have a number? And I think you answered a second, but I'm gonna make you say it one more time. Do you have a number of posts? Like, I've got to post X amount a day on each platform.
No, I mean, I will post always at least once, unless something catastrophic's happened to like now I'm not near as serious about as I used to be.
Right.
Like, if something catastrophic happens, family member dies, kids are real sick, something like that, I'll skip. Like, I'll just straight out skip a day. But, it's always once a day. And, TikTok I used to post 4, 5, 6 times a day on TikTok, and I wouldn't post all that over. But now there's, like we talked about, there's not really any incentive to post that many times on TikTok.
Exactly.
So, I find myself, I usually make a video of a morning, post it across all platforms, and then of an evening, I make an Instagram and a Facebook post that are about exactly the same. And that's been what I've been doing lately. Would I love to post 2 videos a day? Absolutely. But when the drafts start running from 30 to 14 to 8, and you're like, oh shit, I ain't got out on the water to shoot any more
Yes.
videos, and I still got these kids to take care of. Like, yeah, so sometimes you got to punt. Like, this is the last year of my life's been more punt it and figure it out than any time. If I didn't have the kids, I could make some banger content because I would have nothing else to do.
Right. Yeah. That, and you're man, you said something right there. Like, you talking about the drafts being going from 40 down to nothing pretty quick. You post 3 or 4 times a day and see how fast it eats them up. And then I tried let me post it over here, a video over here, but a different video over here and a different video over here. And it's like, I can't do that. I can't keep up with it. I mean, I still do it to a certain extent, but nothing like I was trying to do at first. And
I think I think if you looked at it, like if you really looked at it across all platforms,
yeah,
it's very different people watching your videos across all platforms. And I truly believe that.
I do.
There's a few that watch it there's a few of us, mainly the people inside the fishing community. Like, I'll see your video on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. I'll see it everywhere.
Yep.
But there is very, very few people that happens to. So if you're getting a video to blow up on one and not the other, that's different groups of people getting to see your videos.
100%. I can see it mostly on the biggest in your face when I can see it on is YouTube Shorts, because I'll post it Facebook, TikTok, which goes to Instagram, or Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and it'll do what it does, and then I'll post it to YouTube Shorts at the same time. It won't do anything, but then overnight, all of a sudden, the gamers, I guess they pick it up, and next thing you know, you got 1 million comments in there, and it's all just crazy talk, and you're going, okay, so it's definitely a different group of people overnight that are seeing it, or I guess maybe it's overseas, I don't know, but it always looks like gamers that are, because I click on profiles every once in a while, I'm like, it's all video game stuff, so just guys that are watching.
G Bunny was once the most hated man in Indonesia at one point in time.
Really?
Yeah, one of his rod breaking videos ended up somewhere, and people were leaving comments you couldn't even read. And I called G and I said, "You're like the most hated person in Indonesia right now." And he goes, "These sons of bitches won't quit. They're just all. I mean, they wouldn't. I mean, it was just thousands of comments you couldn't like. We're like, we don't even know what this means."
I remember those videos too, man. I remember seeing those. Like, holy crap, they hate on that stuff pretty bad. All right, so Eric's got a different question. We're going to change gears a little bit. Well, like I said, we let the viewers, dictate it a little bit. He wants to know, do you tie the FG knot? We ask everyone here. It's a case study. We do ask everybody if they tie the FG knot.
I'll be honest with you, man. I'm not a real big knot junkie. I know one fluorocarbon to braid leader, and I don't even know the damn name of it.
Got you. Yeah, I'm an FG.
I'm not a bit. People always ask me different knots in this. I made a video. I know a couple knots to tie like a hook on. I probably only know 4. Like I probably know 4 knots. I've recently learned a loop knot because everybody made fun of me for throwing my jig head without a loop knot.
Thank you. I just learned it.
I finally learned that the other day.
This guy that's left the question, Eric, he's the one that taught me how to do it when we were fishing, because I just did the same knot. I do a double pits on everything, and he was like, "Man, he said the only thing we're doing different is I've got a loop knot and you don't," and I've started tying the loop knot. It seems to make a difference. So
I thought it worked so well. I tried it on my jerkbait the other day, and some bitch actually did better on my jerkbait. I think it did the minnow. I got more bites on my jerkbait than I did my minnow the other day.
Now you got me. And now you got me thinking. You big jerkbait fisherman?
Yeah, pretty big jerkbait fisherman.
I love a jerkbait, man. It's one of my favorite lures to throw. What brand?
Mega bass.
Mega bass. I've got the mega bass. I've had really good luck with the stunner, but I pick up every version I can find of anything. So I'll buy any jerkbait.
I'm a big. I got all like I don't have a jerkbait. I take that back. I got some off brands that I walleye fish with.
Yeah.
But besides that, everything in my boat is a mega bass or a Berkeley stunner. That's everything that's in my boat. I do believe in the plus ones. The Berkeley stunner is the better jerkbait in the plus one.
Thank you.
I will say that, and I will die on that hill because I've thrown a mega bass and not got fish to eat, and thrown a Berkeley stunner and got that same fish to eat. That's information we wouldn't have knew, 10 years ago. We just would have knew the fish ate one. Well, now you can see how the fish is reacting to that bait.
Yep. I've been known to go on the Live Well podcast. I was telling them, they always ask me how I fish it because I've got it. I don't know if it's a unique way, but it's the way I figured out. Like talking about figuring stuff out. I take the plus one and fish it in 3 to 5 foot of water and grind it like a crankbait. I'm still popping it, but I'm getting it to hit off the bottom and dive. And especially on these deep clear lakes up here, like Lanier, Wadowee, things like that. It's absolutely been a killer technique for me. So
that used to be. Back before scope, that used to be the way to fish a jerkbait around here. Now, very few people do it.
Yeah, I've caught really good fish and really good times on just grinding a plus one into the bottom, and it's worked out. Not reeling it, but still popping it like a jerkbait, just making it pop and hit and dart off the bottom. So we've got another question, and Silver Punk brings up. We always ask this one too. Do you believe in Bigfoot?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, he's out there somewhere.
There you go. Look at that.
We need to find him.
I love Bigfoot story. We got the Bigfoot Museum up in North Georgia, and it's an awesome place. I don't know if you've ever gotten out this way, man. If you ever get up that way, the Bigfoot Museum up there is awesome.
I've drove through Georgia, headed to Florida and South Carolina a couple times. I've never stopped and actually fished or done anything around there, but I'd sure like to. That's the one thing that sucks about this, man. I get people all the time like, man, come here, go over there. And man, I would love to fish with all these other people, and I would love to go fish all these different lakes like that. My favorite time to fish the lake's about the first time I see it because my mind's open. I don't have any preconceived notions. I'm just the best bag of bass I ever caught. Like leaving the state was on Hartwell the first time I ever seen it. Caught like 19 pounds the first day I was there. I'm like, oh, this is easy, and then learned that wasn't as easy as I thought. After the first day I was there, we caught like a 5-pound spot. Like, it was easy.
Yeah. Have you ever got to fish Lanier?
I've never got to fish Lanier.
That's another that one. As far as spotted bass goes, that will change your life as far as
spotted. We go to Hartwell not knowing anything for a bass team championship, and we got Missouri. Like we did a little spotted bass research. All you could find is, and this is right, scope's very new. Very, very new. Like, I think people had it, but nobody really understood what we were.
Right.
It wasn't the big boom yet.
Right.
And, all I can see is, okay, these suckers eat a shaky head and they eat an underspin. Like, that's what we take with us.
Yeah.
We get there and we practice. When we can pull up to this little island that's in the back of this pocket. And I'm like, there's an island, bunch of deep water running next to it. I said, man, at home, we'd throw a hard head on something like this. I pick up a hard head, throw it out there, catch a 5-pound something spot. I'm like, well, this is cool. Throw it out there, catch a 3-pound spot. I'm like, okay, well, we'll mark this spot. This is a tournament spot here. We go down one of the bridges in the back to 60-20. We catch a 5-pounder off the riprap on a shaky head. And I'm like, well, this is just the easiest lake I've ever fished. We ended up getting 8th in that team championship, and the guys we were rooming with actually won the event. So it was pretty cool.
Heck yeah. Yeah. That's it's different. I've yet to fish Hartwell. I don't get over that side of Georgia enough, and I need to get over there and fish it. So that's going to be this year's going to be the year that happens for sure. Of course, you got this guy saying, come to Lanier in the spring. It's a special place, man. If you can ever get out to Lanier, trust me, it's a great one. It's a dang good one. I know everybody talks about it or whatever, but it's really a good one. So you brought up, you said something a minute ago that brought something to that I've run into a lot. How do you handle people that want to go fishing with you? I know you probably get a ton of it. Like, hey man, let's go fishing. How do you handle that in a respectful way, or how do you handle it? I'll just ask it flat out.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times I try to, man, it's just there's so many requests anymore. I can't accommodate everybody. And
Right.
I already got my guys that I'm comfortable fishing with. Like I got my old man Greg. You know, me and Greg was one of those people. Greg reached out and he said, "Man, I want you to take me fishing out here." And the first time he's kind of like, "I want to pay you, and you just kind of show me a lake." And I took him out, and man, he was just so eager to learn. I'm like, "Man, I don't want your money." Like you,
Yeah.
he was nothing but respectful. Just wanted to learn. Like he's 60. He was like 61 then, and like he didn't plan on tournament fishing. He just wanted to know how to go out there and try to catch a few bass. And Greg goes with me. I mean, if it's the middle of the week, Greg's usually going with me now. So I kind of, he's retired. He doesn't do anything. I can always call him, okay, you want to fish tomorrow? Yep. Where are we going? What time? Okay. He'll go wherever I want to go in the state.
Yeah.
And then I got my normal tournament partner that on the weekends, like we're usually practicing or something. So my normal tournament partner's with me. So it's got, anymore, like I just don't have that much time. I do like fishing with new people. My wife tells me I should be more careful about it than what I am. I'm usually pretty open to just going out. I try to vet people a little bit, look
Yeah.
over their Facebook. Okay, do they have a family? They got kids? Like, or what's their story? I try to piece it
Right.
together real fast.
Right.
But I will, if the circumstances are right, I'll go fishing with just about anybody. I try to be mindful, especially now that I'm a dad. I'm like, okay, like I don't need to be killed at a boat ramp by some random guy.
Yeah.
So I try to look in. Not that I think anybody would do that, but you never know. Like there's some weird people out there.
There's some
I won't
crazy.
lie about that. I've had some weird ones message me wanting to go fishing, and I'm just like, no, I won't.
Yeah.
I'm not looking to do that. I just tell them pretty straight up, like, no, I'm not looking to do that.
Right.
But there seems to be way more great people that want me to just come hang out. And I would love to go. Everybody's like, come down to, I got a house you can stay out at Fork. Well, I mean, I'd love to go do that.
Yeah.
But I got to work. I got kids. I can't just leave the house and go fishing at Fork for a week, whenever I
Right.
want. So
Do you make it out to any of the big things? Are you gonna try to go to the Classic at all? I know it's kind of far for you.
I went to the Classic last year. I don't plan on going this year. That's one thing, I wish I could do just more for the sponsors is go to the, show up the Classic and ICAST. And man, with my work, I get 2 weeks of vacation and I work in a family business. So I work with my brothers.
I got you.
And if I miss a day for a random reason that's not a child safety issue or something like, it's a big deal. Like the burden's on my brothers. It's not on some other guy they can call in. Like it's us three. One of us has to be there all the time.
I got
And
you.
I'm usually the guy that's there of an evening. So yeah, no, I just where I work, I just can't really like, hey guys, I'm going to ICAST for a week. See you later.
Yeah.
If it works out, and I don't have infinite money either. Like I've thought about like this year, I think I'm actually off the Wednesday, Thursday that ICAST starts. I thought about flying to Florida on Wednesday, hanging out Thursday, flying back that night just to say I was there for a day.
Right.
But at the end of the day, like that's not. And I think a lot of people, I want to say this, 'cause I thought about this on my way home. I think a lot of people this day and age, not older, mostly younger people, are fishing for the wrong reasons. I don't think a lot of people are fishing for the right reasons. I think they want to attain these sponsorships. They want to feel like they fit in. But I don't feel like a lot of people are fishing because they love to fish this day and age. Because I love to fish. Even if we took all the shit off this wall, I'm going crappie fish. I'll go crappie fishing. I'll go catfish. I mean, hell, in college, I totaled out a Mustang hitting deer, driving back and forth to a dam that's 45 minutes away because we went catfishing and drank beer every single night.
Right.
My senior year of high school. That's all we did. We go sit there all night, drink beer, fall asleep with the rods in the water, wake up, reel them in, and drive back home.
Gotta love it.
I just don't. And that was catfishing. That's not bass fishing. And I got to thinking, like, I got all these baits and spinner baits. Man, I could sell 90% of this stuff and feel the same kind of way.
Yeah.
If I wasn't tournament fishing and was just fishing for fun, I would not own hardly anything.
Okay. There you go.
I would own a few crankbaits, a few jigs, a few spinner baits, the top waters. I mean, I wouldn't need a ton of shit.
Right.
I got to think, I just throw what I want to throw. If the fish don't bite it, I'm not out any money. I just go home.
Yeah, my wife said, I thought hunting was bad because I when I got back from overseas, I hunted. She said I needed a hobby, so I started hunting. I didn't fish for 20 years, and then I decided I was buying a boat. It's an old Ranger, but she's like, holy crap, I didn't know fishing. Hunting didn't hold a candle to fishing for me. You know,
I keep hearing these old boys saying like duck hunting's expensive. I'm like, I don't think it's that expensive compared to fishing.
I've duck hunted maybe twice in my life, and I don't get me wrong, it was fun, but it wasn't fishing fun for me. Like, it's not one of those things I'm gonna spend a bunch of money. But I think when you get the duck hunt like that, I think that, you know, you're talking about getting dogs and stuff like that. I think that's where they start spending really dumb money. If you know what I mean, like high dollar money. I guess I don't know.
I got buddies around here that drive around, shoot them off the pond, and make duck and noodles. That's my buddies. I don't duck hunt at all. So
yeah. I mean, I've tried it twice. So Eric's got one. We're gonna end it with this question. We're getting there. I know you got kids and everything you got to get back to, man. I don't want to keep you too much longer. So one last question. It's a good one. You can fish one bait forever. What is it? Color, weight, trailer, etc.
One bait forever. If I wanted to catch fish on it, it'd probably be a 1/2 ounce motion fishing football jig and brown and purple living rubber.
There you go.
Do about anything with it. I mean, I get addicted on bites. Like I do. I'll get addicted to flipping a jig. I'll get addicted to throwing a frog. I'll get addicted to gliding a glide bait. I think that's the reason, like the minnow fishing, like I do it, but it's like it's not addicting to me because I'm not having a ton of fun while I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Like before I can just go lock a frog in my hand, like I'm watching it, noticing its every move, like I'm eyes on it, wanting to see what happens.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. Makes absolute sense. That's kind of, I mean, I'm very similar with how you're doing. I pick up one thing for a while, and that's what I want to do. I get addicted to that. For right now, mine is the minnow. I'm having really good luck with it, so that's kind of what I'm at with it. But did you say what trailer you would throw on there? I don't know if you said the trailer on there or not.
I'd throw a Zoom Z-Crawl Jr. in green pumpkin.
Man, there you go. That's what I'm talking about. It's the same thing I use all the time. That's what I tell everybody. Everybody's asking me what trailer. Zoom Z-Crawl Jr. There you go, guys.
I buy Zoom Z-Crawl Juniors by the case, not by the pack.
Yep. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. That's awesome. Because I mean, I tell people all the time that I'm like, and they look.
You got anything else, man? I got a couple more minutes. You got anything else? I gotta go up and cook my dinner, but I mean, I've got a little bit more free time.
Well, I mean, we're down to the bottom of the questions, but I mean, we'll keep talking. Shoot for yeah. I mean, so with the somebody said on here, the only way hunting competes with fishing is with land leases. That's true. That's, I mean, you can
yeah. I didn't think about that. Yeah, that could definitely get up there.
I wouldn't. I mean, I got out of the hunt. I hadn't hunted since I took back up fishing, so I'll just put it that way. It's
right.
It's not my addiction anymore for sure, dude. I mean, okay. Hang on, we got one more. Yeah, the 1/2 ounce jig gets the nod more than anything. He's right. I mean, I when you said jig, I thought that's where you're gonna go with it too. Because the jig is kind of that'd be mine if I had to fish one thing for the rest of my life. So. What's your somebody did have a question a minute ago. If you don't mind asking it, what do you do for a day job?
I work at a family-owned grocery store, small town. We're known. There's only like 235 people in the town. People come from around to buy. We sell meat, so like we got a meat counter that you can see all the steaks and pork laid out, and we come, and our big deal is like we wrap it how they want it. So if they want to buy 10, wrap one to a package, we wrap them all one at a time and send them on their way, and people drive a long way for that. That's what's kept us in business for a long, long time. It's Buzz's Market in Collins, Missouri, and it's cool. I got several people that come in there that they watch the social medias, and they want to talk fishing. And my brother's always like, "How you know them?" Like, I really don't. Like, they knew who I was. They want to come in here and they just talking fishing, and no, it's been around. The business was actually I think it was the 50s is when it was originated. We're in a new building and everything, but the business has been around a really, really long time.
I got you. So you said earlier that you didn't see this ever being a full-time gig. And now, obviously, with the family business, it's a little harder to say, okay, I'm going to leave this to go do this full-time. Do you not ever think that it could potentially be something that could happen, be like an absolute full-time, you could do it day in and day out? Like, is the money just not there? I don't mean to ask it like that, but is it something that ever grow that way, or is it something you're thinking it's just never going to pan out to be something that's consistent enough to raise a family on?
Man, maybe, I don't know. I mean, I'm going to answer this in a couple parts. I think it's like, from what I'm seeing on my end, like it's good extra money for me, you know, between sponsors and social media. It's
Yeah.
good extra money. But if you turn that into living money, that gets more dangerous because then that's me saying, of course, I have more time. I'm only putting a certain amount of time into it now. That's saying, okay, well, maybe it would be better if I put more time into it. I still believe at a certain point, like you're capped out. Like that's kind of you're getting capped out on what you
Right.
can do. Um, and I just don't see it being. If it could be a living. Let me say that. I think it could be, but it would be very stressful because what about in 3 months if Facebook says, "Hey, man, we're taking the pay away. You're not getting paid anymore." Well, shit, you know that was 25 or 30% of my family's income was just off that. And then
Right.
let's say, you know, you hit a bunch of bad videos and let's say, you know, a sponsor says, "Hey man, we're making some budget cuts. We got to let you go." You
Yeah.
went from making whatever you're making to half of that or less. And that's not saying things don't go completely south and everybody cuts back. And, you know, you don't ever really know. And I see a lot of these guys, I watch them on Instagram all the time. You know, they're in the middle of this. They're like, "Hey, I'm making content full time. I quit my job and this and that." And I'm thinking, I wish I could do that. I can't. I can't take that safety net away, and it's very hard. Like I said, it's family business with my brothers. It's very very hard. Um, it would have to be a no brainer deal before I'm like, okay, I can step away from. And my brothers have always told me, if you get an opportunity to do something like that that you don't think you can pass up, we will completely understand. But
Right.
I kind of gave him my word. I worked there in high school, kind of left, did some other jobs, did some stuff. Actually worked at another grocery store a couple towns away, and then ended up coming back. And that deal was when I kind of came back, like I'm kind of here, like it's us three, and this is what it's going to be.
Right.
Um, but they always told me, you know, they know I got this going on, and they support it. But they say, you know, if things get to where you think you can do this and this is your dream, like let it rip, see what like they'll always hire me back. It's not like they're going to hire me back. We're family,
Right.
right? Um, you know, so I do have that safety blanket, but it's just like I don't think everybody that's telling you they're doing this, I don't think it's all roses and butterflies. I think they're fighting through it. I think they're probably not showing it, and I hope they're all doing well. I don't ever wish for anybody to fail. I
Right.
just don't think it's as rosy as everybody's making it seem.
It makes me wonder sometimes. I've got some good buddies that are really big in the content, and even they don't do it full time. It's just no way they could. And like Hellabass just said, it'd be pretty bad to have to pay a mortgage with it. You know, it'd be pretty scary. So, and a lot less fun too. So, well, man, I appreciate you taking the time. We've hit that 2 hour mark. I'm not gonna keep you any longer, dude. Man, you don't know how much I really appreciate it. I know it's taken away from a little bit of family time, and I thank you again for doing that. Guys in the comments, thank y'all for joining us. We really appreciate y'all stopping by. And man, anytime you ever want to come back on and just shoot the bull with us, you're more than welcome, man. Like I said, you're one of the regular real guys of social media. Like every time I see a video pop up, I'm like watching that video because you're just one of those dudes, man. You're one of the regular guys that I like to see. So, man, I appreciate it. And guys, we'll see y'all next time.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.